With only 2 races remaining in the Outsider Racing League regular season, we head west to Avondale, Arizona to Phoenix Raceway. The desert is a fitting environment for those who thirst for victory, and with chances drying up for those outside the cut line, there's no better time than the present to get a victory heading towards the chase. Welcome to Sim TV. My name is Kyle Heyer, joined by Finian Dacuna tonight for the penultimate round of the regular season before we move on to the chase in the 2020 Fall Outsider Racing League season. Finian, welcome to Sim TV. This is the first time we've worked together in a couple months, so it's good to be back with you here at Phoenix Raceway in the desert. We're heading off to Phoenix this time for Outsider Racing League on a Saturday night.
Yeah, indeed, it is nice to be to do a broadcast here. I know we almost did the one together at Lucas Oil with the Fuel Mission 22 premiere. It's nice to be back into the booth after doing how many dozens of broadcasts together. But qualifying already starting, heading down to the track as Ryan Carlisle looking pretty fast at the moment. Was looking pretty fast, and qualifying is up on provisional pole at the moment.
So qualifying underway here at Phoenix. If I sound a little bit off, we're sort of doing this while I'm home in Rochester and kind of mid-move to Chicago, so Finian's producing this one tonight, so thanks to Finian for picking up the tab here. 3.5 minutes left in qualifying. Ryan Carlisle on top right now with a 26.590. Coming into the night, though, the big talk last week was AJ Stravato continuing to lead the championship standings. Jeff Wright not too far behind, and in a couple weeks, Finian, we start our chase and we head to Sonoma Raceway. The last time we went there was a Jeff Wright victory, so I think Jeff is looking pretty good. Only 7 points back behind AJ. Coming into the night, I think this is a really important night for Jeff Wright to kind of cement himself as a championship favorite. AJ Stravato should have made it here. Indeed, he did. He's currently 6th in qualifying as a couple other drivers get their times on the board. Brennan Bowers shoots to the top, and there is that purple and white number 33, currently the championship leader.
Yeah, it's a very nice looking car. I really enjoy that, with especially the nice gold accents for him. Hoping he does pretty well with that car as he comes back across the line. I think improved his time. Indeed, he did. 26.6.
Yeah, so 26.637 for Stravato. Bowers has been qualifying very well lately, and if we take a look at the championship standings, Brennan Bowers is 7th, so this has really been a key season for him. He started one less race than everybody else inside the top 12 in the standings, with the exception of Jeff Wright, and Bowers does have a victory from a couple weeks ago. So Brennan's been having a really good season, and he's been qualifying super well. And the challenge that he always had in past seasons, Finian, was that he would qualify well and not finish well. It seems like he started to kind of increase his finishing positions in the recent weeks. So has Bryce Calusa with his very important victory at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember Bowers having a pretty big problem with that. It was really fast, but as you mentioned, just couldn't get the finishes done. Calusa, as he comes across the line to finish his second lap, 26.8, not going to improve his time, so he's going to be stuck in the midfield, it seems, for now.
So every time we come to Phoenix, Finian, I think the big discussion is always the challenges of this racetrack in short runs. The wide back straightaway causes a lot of accidents heading off into what is now NASCAR Turn 1. It's currently Turn 3 in this configuration. But this racetrack is either super green or super yellow, and there's really no in-between, no medium-length runs here. It's either you're crashing every 2 laps or you go the entire race green. So we've seen a lot of green flag running. We only saw a couple cautions at Indianapolis last week. I'm predicting a fairly green race tonight, especially with the car count that we have this evening. But I'm feeling pretty good, especially with the drivers we got up at the front, mixing it up. Halpern in the 26. He's really looking to turn his season around. And Liam Sheen joining tonight, 5th in that number 55 car.
I was going to say, Halpern, it's nice to see him out the top of the board. So I expect to see him last season we broadcasted with this group, and just did not seem to have phase. Nice to see that it's come back in some way, shape, or form. We'll see if he can turn that into a win. Has he won a race so far this season?
Which driver are we talking about?
Halpern.
Zach Halpern has not won a race this season. He sits 9th, tied for 9th in the standings with Brian Chambliss and Casey Lakatos. And Casey, of course, coming off of that very widely viewed victory in the Fuel Racing League a couple weeks ago. Lakatos also having a pretty fair season in that number 50 car as well, so we'll keep an eye on him. But I think the topic always goes back to Tim Downey Jr., who was a reigning champion in the series, only 18th in the standings as qualifying comes to a conclusion here momentarily. Downey Enterprises cars have not really been the class of the field like they were a few seasons ago.
Yeah, and qualifying coming to a close, so Brendan Bowers looking like he's going to remain on pole. And Ryan Carlisle in the 71 in 3rd place. He's looking really quick, and I typically consider Carl more of a road course driver. I wasn't sure how well he would do in the ovals, but man, he's showing he's got some top 5, maybe even winning pace with being fast in both practice and qualifying.
Yeah, we know Ryan from the grid life side of things, and you're right. I think when I first saw him join the series, I thought that he'd be sort of a road course ace, but find out later that he's actually been pretty active on the oval side here in iRacing and is pretty successful as well. So he's had a fairly good season so far, even though he joined pretty late. So looking forward to seeing how he'll do here tonight. Let's roll through the starting lineup on the front row here this evening. Of course, it's going to be Brandon Bowers in that number 31, then Adam Cabot in the 77. Move back to our second row, Finian. It's going to be Ryan Carwile in the 71 and Zach Halpern in the 26.
Yeah, and then after that, going to row number 3 and 5th, we find Liam Sheen in the 55 machine. Next to him, Jeremy Miller. Solid qualifying effort for him in the 30 car in 6th place. Back in 7th, AJ Stravado in the 33. Looking to see how well he can do tonight with Bailey Turner next to him in the 24 in 8th place.
Moving back to row number 5, it'll be Casey Lakatos in the number 50 car for Sim Motorsports. His teammate lining up alongside in 10th, and that number 15 Toyota behind them. Jonathan Hernandez in the number 1, and Bryce Calusa, recent winner at the road course in Brazelton, Georgia. He rolls off 12.
Back in 13th place, find Arson Carpe in the number 5 machine. Zach Floyd started next to him in 14th in the 42 car. Back another row, Joshua Banks in 15th in the 36 car with Clifton Cockrell rounding out row number 8.
In row number 9, Ben Laughter's number 64 will line up alongside the number 92 of Matthew Close, looking for some more success here. And in row number 10, Angelo Ronis in the number 29. Brian Chambliss rolls off towards the tail of the field tonight in the 20th spot, number 9.
Sam Devantier in the 99 machine. Next to him, Jeff Wright lined up in 22nd in the 48 car. Eric Hutton back in 23rd in the 88 with Steve Turner in 24th in the 46 car.
And our final couple rows here, Tim Downey Jr. in the number 25 rolls off 25th. Matt Wagner starts in 26th in the number 18. Jeremiah Vincent, 27th. And Corey Steinhauser rolls off 28th in the number 65. And to round out the field, David Mott Jr. in the number 4 car. So we saw briefly that this racetrack, constructed in 1964, one of the oldest racetracks on the NASCAR circuit, changed several times since it was first built in 1964, been reprofiled and changed around, flipped backwards. There used to be a road course, a 2.5-mile road course that went outside the track in what is now oval turns 3 and 4, but just near Phoenix, Arizona. Of course, Avondale, population of 90,000 people. And as the field heads off into turn number 3, a 4-turn, 1-mile oval. That sounds simple, but it sure is not. It's a challenging racetrack with a lot of character. Nothing else like it on the NASCAR circuit. That is definitely the Circuit of the Americas. That is factoid for Coda West. But as we take the green flag here at Phoenix, green flag flies, and we're racing in the Outsider Racing League from Phoenix Raceway off into turn number 1. They file on through the 55 of Liam Sheen in that brand new TDR paint scheme, holding the inside through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, and Field's flying out to the back straight for the first time into the dogleg they can go. You can see everyone taking up as much real estate as possible. I think one driver pulling off to the side. I believe that is Brian Chambliss trying to give way to some other drivers here as we're still fighting through the first few turns, but it's Brandon Bowers barely that's going to be in the lead. Oh, there's Casey Licata spinning in the background.
Oh, I think he's going to get clobbered there by somebody. It looks like it might be Ben Laughter, the 65, as Steinhauser gets turned around. So Lakatos, Steinhauser, and then Laughter all collided in a lap 1 incident. I'm getting back rolling, and now it's just sort of race car Tetris on the front straightaway. Let's have a look here at the replay. And first lap, cold tires, and was there maybe contact here, Phineas?
Yeah, I'm curious to see here, trying to listen on board with him. No, just got loose. I think, mix of cold tires. I didn't get a chance to see the weather, but I imagine it's a hot surface being Arizona.
Yeah, and this racetrack, deals with hot temperatures, of course, and it's relatively fresh pavement as well. But, maybe the 1 car. You see the 50 kind of get through the middle of 3 and 4. He's just going to throttle up here and just get behind in the steering right there. Just a little bit offline. Car just steps out. Does a good job hanging onto it here, but, of course, Laughter can't go anywhere. Finds himself squeezed between Lakatos and the barrier, and the 65 car gets turned around, and Laughter gets a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, Corey Steinhauser in that number 65 machine. Looks like he's going to be able to get away with mostly cosmetic damage to that machine. I think should be fine. Also didn't check, I think Lakatos got a decent hit with Laughter, so I'm not sure how the left side of his car is doing.
Well, I think you'd rather have the left side torn up than the right side, but Lakatos going to up the tail of the field here. You know what, Finian? I think I noticed something. I think why you're not getting any currently positions running is because we've got to change you back into single class mode. I think you've still got the D series and class colors loaded. So if you want to reboot that, that'd be a good time to do it under caution.
Indeed,
so just go to the settings and select iRacing classes, you're good to go. So while that's going on, Bowers in the 31. You're going to have to restart ATVO, by the way.
That's fine. I'll get that done.
So Brandon Bowers leads the way here in the early going in the number 31 and fought pretty hard with Adam Cabot in the 77. And Cabot, to my understanding, is running a part-time season this year. And looking down the order, let's see, Adam Cabot has run only 6 of the 10 races that we've had this season. But in those 6 races, he's won twice, which ties Connor Horn and Jeff Wright for the most victories this season. So he's obviously doing something right, Finian. But we'll see if he can pick up another victory here tonight and make him the winningest driver with only just about half the starts in this season.
Yeah, it's honestly pretty insane to see if he can pull that off, considering it's insane. I was looking at the standings earlier to see how some guys are doing, and I noticed someone with only six starts, but really high up in the order. Everyone else around him has 9-10 starts, but he's been doing pretty well for himself. So yeah, showing a lot. Well, he was another driver that I was a bit surprised to see, not really get a win or too many wins in last season. So nice to see he's kind of turned that around for himself in a pretty big way.
Alrighty, so with that, there we go. That should have all the positions and everything sorted out now.
Yep, there we go.
Take a look at Bowers, and we come into the green flag here in just a moment. Doubling up, re-racking, restacking. Bowers will choose the inside line for the restart. And I think you're always going to want the inside here at Phoenix. The track is not actually as hot as I would have expected to see here, Finian. Only 85-degree track temp. So I'm not sure if that's what contributed to Licata spinning, but either way, I think we've seen a whole lot hotter than this. Pace car going to make the hard left here onto pit lane. We'll try this again. Second time maybe to charm in Avondale today. Field heads out of turn number 4 on the front straightaway. Green flag back in the air here from Phoenix. And Bowers clears his way down to the lead in turn number 1.
Yeah, and you almost saw him get turned by the 77 Adam Cabot last time through, coming out of turn 4. I think that cost him, might have saved him here as we come flying to the back straightaway yet again. Drivers still in the midfield, all searching for position.
3 wide as they head to do the dog leg again. You can cut that section on the back straightaway as long as you come back up onto the racetrack without creating any dramas. Through 3 and 4, there's Stravato, the points leader. All he needs to do tonight is just finish ahead of Jeff Wright if he wants to keep that points lead. But right now, he's kind of mired in the middle of traffic. Jeremy Miller on the bottom, Bailey Turner behind him as they work through turn 2.
Yeah, this is the traffic he's dealing with already. You see Liam Machine right in front, nowhere for him to go. I thought nowhere for him to go, but he's going to chop it. Here we go, 3 wide, almost 4 wide. Is Bailey Turner waiting in the wings, trying to make up spots. These guys are racing aggressive very early on. Yeah,
going for position to 33 up the middle, 3 wide on the backstretch. And Bailey Turner, the discretion was the better part of valor there, heading off into 3, but he's going to be aggressive heading down here into turn number 1. And Finney, you know what they say about aggressive.
Yeah, it always ends up going around. Now, you saw with Casey Licata, and these cars definitely do seem to be at least the start of the run a little bit squirrely. I think that's what Casey Licata showed. Oh, as I say that, another car around.
Clifton Cockrell, I think, in that 16 is the car that we saw turned around. He's collected himself and carrying on. But potentially just loose there. And you know what, that happens a lot here at Phoenix because you come up off that corner and you want to make that hard left down onto the apron, and if you do it too aggressively, you can just spin your car out. You turn too hard left. And now the 55, 33, and 24 still going at it here for what looks to be about 6th position.
Yeah, neither driver wants to give up. I can't imagine now if this is really hurting them or helping them at the moment, fighting so hard. Ooh, Liam, there you see him turn very hard. Liam Sheen goes flying around and collects up a few more cars in the turn, and oh, no.
That's a big mess. The points leaders turned around, caution out for the 2nd time today. And dramas here for AJ Stravato, who all he needed to do was just have a good run tonight, just to maintain that points lead, and some early issues for the points leader. And that was trouble waiting to happen, Finney. We saw them 2 and 3 wide. Not playing very nice here. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I thought in the edge of the corner, I thought, I think AJ turned a little. He's turning in a little bit too hard, and kind of ended up proving me right there. This is what happened here. Looking him go off into the turn, I think AJ just came down too much on the 55, and AJ was trying to save this car. I'm curious if he hit anyone. No, actually just had a lucky, lazy spin.
Yeah, everyone did a great job missing him there, and I think, did Liam Sheen get away without any damage?
No, I think he got a lot worse for that. Let's see here.
Yeah, the 33 is just going to turn left here. I think he just sort of forgets that the 55 is there. He just gets pile driven there by, I think that's Joshua Banks collected. Or is that maybe the 10 car?
I think that was Banks. I'm trying to see if we can double check that.
I'll look here, but yeah, unfortunately for Liam Sheen, that'll probably be night over. And, oh yeah, right there. Wow. that's a big impact. It looks like Hernandez got a piece of it as well.
Yeah, and I think the big concern for Sheen, too, is he got hit right in the left front as well. So he's looking at suspension damage, might honestly just retire the car, because that was a pretty hard hit there. We'll see if he can get this thing back out in working condition. But yeah, it is unfortunate considering he started really well, started up in 5th. Definitely had a top 5 car from the looks of it, at least early on. But yeah, it's going to end up potentially end his race in the wall. Let's see if that car is fixable.
Doesn't really look like it right now. So 11 laps in here at Phoenix. We mentioned in the pre-race that it would probably be all caution or all green so far. A whole lot of yellow flag laps. So the aggression has been sort of happening mid to the rear of the field. And there's a lot of desperation, I think, as we get closer and closer towards the end of this regular season where getting a win is certainly important. I think there's something to be said about just taking this easy here, because once you get into long green flag runs here, it's hard to get out of them. But if you can't get out of those short runs, it's going to be very difficult to stop the trend of caution play.
Yeah, well, enough of these cautions very quickly. We're already just about to go back green. Curious to see if we see any more carnage up in the front, or do you think maybe these guys in the front might try to take it a little bit more easy after 2 fairly quick cautions?
I think so far they've been playing nice together, so that's always good to see, but I don't think that's a trend we can necessarily rely on as they get bunched up here for the restart. I'm watching especially the 26 of Halpern, who would be really lucky to get a victory before this season is over with the way that team in general has been running. So I think his goal today is going to be really run par for the course, get a top 5, get in the top 3, put yourself in position to win races. They have not been here in recent months, so hopefully they can turn that around. Green flag back in the air here, lap number 13 from Phoenix.
Bowers again with another really solid start into the inside immediately. Adam Cabin, curious to see what he's going to do. They were looking to be having some really short restarts or short runs here. I'm curious to see if he's going to try to be maybe more aggressive, try to take the lead away from this 31, who's been, I think, benefiting quite a bit from these short runs, as in behind them side by side for 4th place.
There's Jeremy Miller on the inside of Ryan Carwile and Bailey Turner watching from behind. Turner had a very slow start to the season, but has just turned on fire lately and is charging through the field, as he's done quite a bit this season. Alex Bell started 10th. He's moved up a couple spots as well, and I think short tracks are sort of his bread and butter. And while I wouldn't consider this really a short track, it sort of races like one in some respects. So keep an eye on this 15 car tonight. He could be good.
Yeah, definitely, as he's already looking to the inside of Carwell, who's dropping back just a little bit since the start of the race, but still holding strong in that Ford Mustang on the outside too, as he cuts down to the inside now, trying to vend for position. There you see Bell meet a big dive to the inside into turn 1. Oh, it might get hit as well.
Yeah, that's a bad angle. There's Zach Floyd there in the 42 that gave him a shot to the left rear quarter panel. You head off into the inside of turn 1 like that, going so straight, you very rarely can hang on to it there, Finian. It's a tricky angle to maintain. Again, turns 1 and 2 a lot tighter than 3 and 4, but there's also a bit more banking. I'd argue that 1 and 2 is a lot more single groove, and if you go in offline, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, looking at the 5 machine holding it on the inside as well. Austin Carpe trying to fight with the 20 of Bryce Calusa, who's been kind of sitting in 11th all race, it seems, right in the midfield.
Oh, real tight at the exit of turn number 2. Now, the 5 will cut down, slam down onto the apron, and the good thing about racing in the sim world is you don't have to worry about tearing up that splitter too much, but one driver that's not worried about tearing up the splitter is Adam Cabot. He is hounding Bowers for the race lead, but I will say that Bowers has built up about a 2.5 second tenth. Or, wow, that's not a word. 2.5 second tenth, 2.5 tenths of a second over Adam Cabot as we watch in the background. Halpern now struggling to keep Miller and Turner behind him.
Yeah, and speaking of which, Turner immediately worked to the inside of Jeremy Miller. Miller way outside, gonna let the 24 on by, maybe try to do an over-under. No, looks like he just kind of let him go on through. See now Bailey Turner can work his way up to 3rd, because that 24 looking pretty fast at the moment.
Yeah, he's been super fast, and like I said, the season didn't start out amazing for Bailey Turner. Right now, he actually sits in 6th in the standings, but looking back at his season, his last finish at Indianapolis was 6th, then 3rd at Chicago, 11th at Road Atlanta, 5th, 4th, 1st. But the first 4 races of the season, 22nd, 11th, 21st, 28th. So he has really turned it around and is charging for tonight. I think he's a pretty good pick to win this race, actually.
Yeah, mostly it seems like these guys have single filed out. I don't want to say it too early, but I feel like we're looking at a cleaner run. I might try to prove me wrong here within the next 5 laps. I'll have to see here. I do want to keep an eye on this lead just for a little bit, but it is. I thought Cabot was actually going to start working back on Bowers. It looks like Bowers is starting to break away.
Yeah, Bowers again. I think the strength has come this season. 27.321 his previous lap. You can already see the drop off though. I think tire wear going to be a big deal tonight. If we're only 19 laps into this race and seeing about a second of drop-off, I think that's only going to escalate as the tires wear out. So tire conservation, I don't really think is in Cabot's corner. I think a driver like, if we look farther down the field at someone like Jeff Wright, they tend to be a little bit better. AJ Stravato, if he can get that car going the right direction, those are the guys that I think will be better on the long run. I think in the short term, Cabot's probably better off than most of these drivers, but he's got some work to do to catch that 31.
Yeah, indeed. Speaking of Jeff Wright, does have a lot of work back in 14, but it did start to roll the way back, I think, in 27, so he's been working his way up. Battle up further ahead, though, and I believe that is the 5 and the 42 fighting for position.
Yeah, Zach Floyd in the 42 and Carpe in the 5. And behind them, there's Angelo Ronis and the 20 of Bryce Calusa going at it 2x2 off into turn number 3. Carpe in the 42, they make contact through 3 and 4. Now the 20 goes to the inside of the 29, battle off turn 4. As they come to the start-finish line, that's all for 8th spot. And Carpe, Floyd, Ronis, Calusa, they sort it out. And here comes Devon Tier in the 99 knocking on that rear spoiler of that 20 car.
Oh, yeah, and there you see off of turn 2, dive from the 42, Floyd to the inside. These guys losing a little bit of touch with the group up ahead, but that's fine for Floyd. Trying to get to that inside. Looks like that outside has actually worked something. I saw last time through, I think it was Ronis who was able to complete the move on Calusa on that outside lane. The runoff of turn 4. Oh, no, as I say that, the 42 gets hit hard to the inside wall and caution out yet again. Oh, and the 18 as well.
Matt Wagner absolutely obliterates the 42, and that car is destroyed. Man. That is looking like a featherless arrow as he came across the start-finish line. Not going the right direction.
I want to see what happened here. This is
4.
Second time we've seen a car get loose off this corner.
Now, I think the 5 hits the wall, bounces off, and ricochets it into the fence. And then Wagner, just not really anything you can do about this.
Yeah, can you see those right on board with the 5 car? This with Carpe on the outside.
Yeah, he's going to slip right here in the middle of 3 and 4. He's just going to slip up the racetrack right here. He's just going to come off the wall and just knocks the 42 straight into the fence, but then bounces into traffic. And Wagner probably can't see much because he's following other cars down that straightaway. And I don't really think braking would have done you a whole lot of good. Right here, he's following, I think that's the 92 of Close.
Yeah,
he's following this. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, yeah, he was right in this line. A car is right up ahead. So he sees one car spinning, and I think he was hoping that the 42 is going to stick further on down.
Yeah, the hope and the reality were two different things there, unfortunately, for him. So he will probably end his night there. But a lot of attrition so far. The entire field's going to hit pit lane with the exception of AJ Stravato and Vincent. They'll stay out on the racetrack.
Indeed. So interesting pit call there. I mean, we've had a decent amount of laps on the green. We did see some fall off, so I'm curious to see what they've got in store. Maybe, do you think that's maybe Stravato trying to get a lap lead? Maybe you think he'll come in this time by?
No, I think Stravato is going to stay out on the racetrack, and I think the reason is that they're seeing these quick yellows like this, Finny, and we're going to see a lot of heat cycles go in these tires very quickly. So the only way that this doesn't work out for Stravato is if we don't get another quick caution. I think we will. And see Jeff Wright take 2 tires there, Finian. So I've never seen that, at least on the V7 tire model. I have not seen 2 tires ever really be the call. I think if you come to pit lane, you take 4, but we'll see if it works for Jeff Wright.
Yeah, I think he figured it was just worth the track position. We saw him last time, and you think he was running around 14th position, so he's going to move inside the top 5. Was not the only driver to take 2 tires as well. Alex Bell took 2 tires on that last stop. Everyone else, actually even, no, I was going to say David Mott, but I think he just passed through pit road. So, yeah, and we do have Stravato staying out. Actually, Vincent came back in, so it's just going to leave just AJ Stravato out. Sorry, AJ Stravato out on old tires. Case Lakatos actually also stayed out as well. He came in, just passed on through pit road, and then is still stayed out. So he's also on old tires unless he decides to come in next time through. Then Bell, then Wright on 2 tires, and everyone else on 4 fresh ones. I don't think long term it's gonna probably work out for the 48 or really anyone else in that top 4.
No, I think you're better off, I think, with some quick yellows. Again, if this goes green, this is not going to work at all, and this will probably put Stravato even farther back. But I think what Stravato is trying to do is get out of the danger zone here. There's a lot of cars that are having issues, and you might as well go up front, try to lead some laps while the rest of the field is having those issues to keep yourself out of trouble and also potentially be able to kind of cycle out to the lead if we keep getting these yellow flags, then we end up getting to another pit cycle, another 25 or 30 laps. So I like this call. I wouldn't do this 100 laps from now, but right now I think it's an okay call to make.
Yeah, and also Lakatos came back into pit road there. You see him on the right-hand side of the screen in pit lanes. He's getting service to his car pretty late, I gotta say. He's got to hope his picker's a little bit faster because there's not a whole lot of time for him to get service and get back out, but he's going to be at the back of the field. We do have quite a bit of attrition. We started with 29 cars, only 23 left running, and we're only on lap 27 of 170.
Yeah, so a lot of racing left to go here. So pretty short pace laps as well, so we'll get back rolling here in just a moment. And tomorrow night, we are off here on SimTV, but Monday we'll be back with 3 Wide Racing League action. Tuesday, you got to head to Grid Life's YouTube channel for the Grid Life iRacers FCP Euro Tour. We'll be heading off to Brands Hatch with the TCR car. Then Wednesday, DC Region SCCA action with myself and Tom O'Gorman. Thursday night, of course, we'll be back with Scars Ferrari Challenge. Friday off, and then Saturday we're back here next week with our Charlotte regular season finale. Field comes out at turn number 4, lap number 28, and green flag back in the air. AJ Stravato fires off and away, and the 15-car Bell kind of crowds the outside into turn 1.
Yeah, and Bowers got a little bit of a punt from Bailey Turner. Nothing too bad there. It could have been a lot worse. So just a little bit of a shove heading off into turn 1. A lot of these guys very anxious. I think they know that a lot of the guys up ahead on older rubber and less good tires, so they're trying to take advantage of it. We could potentially see another yellow here in a very little bit.
Well, the 15 and the 33 got up front. Big wiggle there by the 30 of Miller. Everyone scatters on the front straight. But certainly this is causing some speed differentials that need to be sorted out relatively quickly. 3 wide for second slide for the 77. He's around. Everybody scatters. Caution flag is out for the 3rd time.
And another spin. This time, first time we've seen it off of turn 2.
Yeah, that was Adam Cabot. And that's concerning to me because I thought Cabot would have been the one to avoid a situation like that. But having another look here, Finian, Cabot, I think he just got loose, or was there some contact here to look at?
Yeah, I'll see here. I want to say it's loose. Yeah, it just got loose. He was trying to turn it really hard to the left because he knew he was 3 wide. I think just asked the tires a little bit too much. An interesting thing, too, is the other driver that got really loose, we saw it on the front stretch. We'll actually take a look at that as well. Jeremy Miller, and both those drivers had fresh tires, so I think it's just a cold tire situation. It's pretty bad, it seems, here at Phoenix.
Yeah, they're definitely not gripping up. We also saw Clifton Cockrell almost do what we just saw Adam Cabot do. He managed to collect it and continue, but yeah, even Miller still loose again. So that worked out well for Stravato. He just drove off into the sunset while all this happened again. Now that's another heat cycle on the tires of everyone behind him. So we're going to keep seeing this happen, I think, and this race, the pace of this race is going to be very slow. However, we always get to these points in these races where we get these quick cautions, and at some point, Finian, we always get a long green flag run where all this nonsense stops and they just race. And if you're out front on old tires, when we get to that run, you're in big trouble.
Yeah, I think that's, again, just looking squarely at AJ Stravato for that. Everyone else in behind has got some form of fresh tires, 2 or 4. As a lap car getting a wave around, I believe that is Zach Floyd in the 42 with this beat-up car. He's back in 23rd, but AJ Stravato, it's been a decent amount of time since he's been back to pit lane. Could be a whole lot worse, so I'm interested in seeing how that call is going to work out. But yeah, if we do get, it's always a big thing for these guys. When is that long green flag run? Because it always does end up coming, as you mentioned, at some point in the race. Yeah, everyone's just kind of asking. The big question is really a matter of when that run comes, and I think he's kind of hoping that it's not going to be in the next few runs because he's at the biggest disadvantage, I would say, as far as tires are concerned for their longevity.
Well, I think for Stravato, I think you have to look at, can I make it to... Can I make a 1 fewer pit stop if I continue to play this strategy? So if there's other drivers right now that are still locked into a 3-stopper and Stravato can run this tank out and then do a 2-stopper or a 1-stopper, you're sitting pretty. So I think there's more strategy to this than just getting the momentary track position. We'll see if it benefits him later in the night. But for now, I think this is a big risk. It could pay off, though.
It definitely could pay off here as they're coming out onto the back straightaway. And I'm trying to look here, any surprises really as far as the field's concerned. Clifton Cockrell having a decent day. I don't know where he started back in 16th up into 9th, so he's been doing pretty well for himself. Trying to look at any other drivers in an interesting position since the start of this race. Eric Hutton also.
Yeah, Hutton, again, started sort of near the tail, and if we look at his season so far in that Chick-fil-A number 88, and we go back and have a look here at the standings, Hutton right now is currently scored thought
23rd.
I saw him down in 23rd. Only 8 starts on the season. He only has 1 top 10, so it has not been a massively successful season by Eric Hutton standards. It wasn't that long ago that we were talking about him winning a championship here in this series. So times have certainly changed, but I don't think it's a lack of talent. I think it's just circumstances that have kept the 88 out of the front the last couple months.
Yeah, something with this league, it just does not seem to benefit reigning champions, does it? We've seen the Downey Enterprise guys, they struggled this season after they did really well, one of them winning a championship, Tim Downey Jr., and then even Alec, I think, struggled a bit when he won his championship the season after as well.
They also bail. All those champions always leave for a season or two. At least the Sim Motorsports drivers do, it seems like. We've had 3 drivers come, crush everybody, and then bail, so I don't know what's up with that, but that seems to be the way to do it. Who's the F1 driver that did that? Mercedes.
Nico Rosberg.
That's the one. Pulling a Rosberg on everyone. We'll try this again, lap number 34, and here in Phoenix, I think the only thing that's been hot so far is the driver's tempers. The weather is still relatively cool. Green flag back in the air, lap 34. Try to get this underway again. 33 leads him off into 1. And Bailey Turner got caught off guard there. Got caught waiting.
Yeah, got a little bit squirrely there. Looks like he's got it sorted back out as it comes to the back straightaway. Turner going to try to cut down, close off the door on Zach Halpern to secure that 4th spot. Now going to set his eyes further up the order as we see Brandon Bowers now work around the outside of the 48. Now this should be pretty easy for Bowers to get into the highest drive with the with 4 fresh tires, fighting with Jeff Wright, only 2 fresh tires on the inside.
Yeah, Jeff Wright was big time sideways coming out of turn number 4. I'm so curious to see what he can do with Stramato. When we get to Sonoma in the chase, Jeff Wright is going to be a factor as the caution is out again, this time for an incident off in turn 1. That is Jeremy Miller this time. Yeah, and the trend continues so far.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this was. Let's see if we can get a look here. What caused him to have some trouble? Oh, this might have been another car involved here.
I think it's David Mott in the 4, drives off into turn 1, just never turns in. Yeah, that just flat out kind of turns him out there, Finney. I'm not sure if Mott just locked up the tires or what, but he just drove straight off in there and turned the 30 car around.
Yeah, I would think David's not usually one for revenge, but yeah.
Maybe you could argue that the 30 maybe turned down, but I think they got to make the corner at some point, so I don't see the 4 car ever really make an attempt to turn in. I mean, it's not a multi-groove racetrack there. You want to be on the bottom, so maybe just a miscalculated point there, but the 30 locked him down trying to avoid hitting the safer barrier and was not able to miss it entirely.
Yeah, well, if you wanted to or not, David definitely managed to take out Jeremy. I don't think the car seems to be in okay-ish shape. I'm not sure the full extent of the damage, but I guess he'll come down to pit road to get that sorted out. I think we'll also just take a little bit of a break here and catch our breaths, and we'll be right back.
Back live here at Phoenix Raceway for the Outsider Racing League. A handful of cautions slowing our progress here this evening on a wonderful Saturday night. 39 laps complete of 170. But Finian, so far, the progress has been slow with the amber lights atop the wall glowing pretty bright here. We're going to try again at lap 40.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get this underway. See, that long run we were talking about is going to come here. We'll see as AJ Serrato going to fire out of the gun. We're back green here at Phoenix.
And again, he clears for the race lead in this pit call he made a little while ago, looking awful smart down into turn one, the 48 and 31, side by side. Two tires versus new tires as they come up off the corner. Big slide there and onto the backstretch.
Yeah, and Wright still trying to defend it. As you mentioned, this is the strategy call really playing out with these short runs that we've been getting. Yeah, but he's still got to fight every single restart to try to keep these guys, everyone with fresher tires in behind him. Ooh, as he has a bit of a flash out. He's back out on track, but let's see now. I think they might have caught Bowers left guard. We'll see Bailey Turner. He's also lurking right in behind.
Well, behind them, the 26, and I think that was Carwile. They almost had it coming together down there in turn one. You see the 26 has some significant right side damage from something before. So he's either been into the wall or another competitor. As they head off into three, he's going to stick the nose up underneath. The 31 comes down the racetrack, nose to tail as he went through 3 and 4.
Yeah, Albert was looking for a nose to the inside there, couldn't quite get it done. Even Carwell is looking to like he wants to make a move, but can't get it done by the time they get to turn one. But definitely keeping an eye on that 24 car. He's on the move. Might be the next leader here within a few laps. Ooh, Halpern a little bit of wiggle. Carwell a little bit of a wiggle in mind.
Oh, 3 wide again. The 15 car hunts for the apron. And kind of hanging out with the campers in the infield as they head off into turn 3. Calusa goes the long way around. He'll carry that momentum on the high side. Sandwich the 15 down against the yellow line. Look at Ronas turn up underneath them. They're going to try to go 3 wide on the front straight. 15 throws the block.
Yeah, Ronas tried to throw it to the inside. Couldn't quite get there in time with that block from Alex Bell. Bell going to hold off 8th position at the moment. And behind them, also double file. I think I see the number 5 machine to the inside, side by side with Cockrell for 12th place.
And for the race lead, Jeff Wright is now within 1/10 of a second of the 33. He's right on the rear bumper of the 24. No tires, 2 tires, 4 tires, all going for the top spot here. Big wiggle for Stravato, but look at the run he carries onto the front straight. That 33 has been awful good to his tires, especially on these restarts.
Yeah, well, he's going to have to start asking a lot of them now, really, with all these guys hounding right in behind. They're all starting to kind of accordion back together after now we got a decent restart under our hands, and especially with Bailey Turner there, you see him throwing a move out to the inside. He, again, mentioned he's on the move to the inside of that 48 machine. And those drivers, if I'm not mistaken, they're now teammates, so we'll see if they can sort this out.
There's a quartet of Chevrolets at the front, all scrapping for position off into the first corner. Behind them, a Mustang and a Camry drag racing themselves into turn number 1. Carwile on the bottom. The 26 of Halpern up top with a very stricken and flattened looking Toyota Camry. Third place, make it second place. The 24 goes 2 for 1 and takes both those positions away off into turn 3 and now sets his sights on that purple 33 car that's out front.
Yeah, I think this should be easy pickings. I have to see, though, right, still in behind. Right now trying to hold up Bowers. Bowers on his inside. Ooh, Wright turns in very hard. Bowers has to get on the brakes to avoid hitting him. Still side by side out of turn 2.
Taking the shortcut, and we've seen in the past that taking that shortcut isn't necessarily any faster, but it makes you feel faster, and you could get an upper hand if you could get even a little bit of overlap on the driver in front of you. So Bowers takes that spot away in the 2-tire call for the 48. Not looking even as good as the no-tire call that Stravato made. He was able to take that track position and run with it, and he's held the lead a lot longer than I think we thought he would. And again, that caution where he stayed out was at lap number 25. We're closing in on lap 50 already. Stravato's still leading.
Yeah, and he's been out there now for 36 laps. Again, quite a few caution laps mixed in there as well. But compared to everyone else, he's out there on, I think, around 10, 15 lap older tires. And that can make all the difference here. We haven't really seen these guys go, I think, much longer than a 15 lap green flag run so far tonight. So I'll have to see how that's going to work out for Stravato.
But definitely Turner is coming, and coming pretty quickly in that White Claw number 24. Here's a battle going on between Eric Hutton, Adam Cabot, and the 15 of Alex Bell. All going on for about 9th spot off into turn 3. Cabot watching from behind. He's a 2-time race winner this season. Looking for 3. He's got to drive through a whole bunch of cars to get there.
Yeah, we saw him in the back of the field for quite a while now, slowly working his way up to the front. If he can get past Bell here, he'll put himself inside the top 10 for the first time since his incident earlier on in the race. Indeed, it looks like he's going to get past 15 and seal that position. And moving back up front, looks like Ryan Carlisle, he's in the mix with Jeff Wright right now, starting to fall off the pace.
Yeah, Carwile having a really good night tonight, so he will go back by the 48. And again, whenever you take 2 tires, I feel like it throws the balance of the car completely off. I'd rather have no tires or 4 tires than that 2-tire call where you're sort of upsetting the balance and creating uneven wear on your car. I think you're better off doing Stravato's strategy, getting that extra track position, and just dealing with the consequences, because it just keeps your car, while it's slower, more balanced than making the 2-tire call.
Looking at this potential battle for the lead here is the 24 Bailey Turner closing up ever so slightly on the back of AJ Stravato. Curious to see how they're going to work this out. You think AJ might realize that he's kind of fighting a losing battle here? You think he's going to battle tooth and nail for this?
I don't know. I mean, I think we're 50 laps into this. I think Stravato knows that he's going to get beat. I think it's just a matter of how long you hold him off for. I don't think he'll do anything crazy to try to hang on to it, but he's not just going to let him go. I think you're better off kind of making the 24 burn up his stuff and maybe bringing Bowers back into the mix as well. That's going to create a lot of intensity for Bailey Turner, though. He's going to see that 31 coming and want to push the issue. Remember, Bowers was your pulse hitter. Now side by side down the front stretch into turn 1.
And Bailey going to throw it up the inside here. Battle for the lead. Pass for the lead. As Turner's going to get a nice run off of turn 2. And new leader, 24 Bailey Turner. Now here comes Bowers. He doesn't want to let the 24 run away too much, because this 31, again, still got some speed as he's going to throw it to the inside into turn 3.
Stravato has to leave him the lane there. Not a lot of grip up high in 3 and 4 just yet. Sort of in the middle there is, but Stravato didn't take that line. He went even a lane up higher than we've seen. For second place, Bowers will have it at the line and then have it complete down into turn number 1. So now Bailey, Turner, Bowers, Stravato, Carwile, and Wright your top 5. Halpern, Kalusa, Ronas, Hutton, and Cabot the rest of the top 10 as we work lap number 53.
Yeah, this battle's been kind of developing now. The next victim I guess the next driver's just trying to pass Jeff Wright. Jeff Wright's really the victim here, as Halpern, Kalusa, and Ronas are all looking to pass him 6th, 7th, and 8th in behind him. Oh, well, as you see a big wiggle from the 33 of Stravato, and now here comes Carwile around the outside.
Yeah, so Carwile will have that spot. I saw the 26 and 20 about to dump each other coming into turn 3. I'm not sure that they're thrilled at the moment, as the 20 car is going to die for the apron. The 26 will follow. Kalusa, remember the winner from the road course a couple weeks ago, I think he's looking forward to heading off to Sonoma in 3 weeks' time. And Halpern on the outside looking to find pay dirt anywhere, and whether it's dry dirt, this week at Phoenix, I don't think he cares. He just needs to have something turn this season around for him as he heads off into 1 and protects that spot for now.
Yeah, pretty solid stuff here. All closing in. Even Adam Cabot, too, who we were just talking about a moment ago. Even Eric Hutton, too. They've both been kind of slowly working their way up the order. I think now Hutton has been finally able to get a solid green flag run. He's been able to move up quite a few spots, now up into 9th, looking at the next few positions. We still see Kalusa and Halpern side by side. Neither these guys can't break away from each other, though now they are, as Kalusa gets a really good run out of 4.
Yeah, Kalusa using that high lane. That was a lane we didn't see him trying previously. Now Ronas way offline in turns 1 and 2. That'll let Hutton get to the bottom and take that position away. And he'll likely complete it off into turn 3. I think you can use the outside in 3 and 4 if you know what you're doing, if you plan for it. If you get nudged up there, though, it's pretty hard to carry momentum and speed.
Yeah, I'm curious to see now Ronas on that outside lane again, and might be able to hold off something here with the 77 of Cabot as they come side by side onto the front stretch. No real change for position up in front. They're kind of slowly spreading out. This is really the biggest battle on track at the moment.
Singling out, that's the way Phoenix tends to be. We were waiting for that longer green flag run, and I think we're getting there after a couple laps of some green flag running. You see Bailey Turner now leads Bowers by half a second. I'm curious to see if that 31 car can run him back down. This time through, it does look like he was able to slightly, but it's another half second back to find Carwile in 3rd. Then Stravato has dropped to 4th in all this. So I still like the call that Stravato made. Remember how he was buried in traffic before? He's still on the original tires that came on this car, and he's still inside the top 5. I think that's a good call for me. Yeah,
and actually looking at their lap times too, yeah, Stravato around a 28, pretty much 28 flat, and is only just a few hundredths of a second off of everyone else around him. It was, in fact, it just ran almost identical to Brandon Bowers' time. This time through the line, Stravato, one of the faster drivers inside the top 5, so he's actually making some pretty good time despite older tires. So this call is working really well for him.
I think it's all about heat cycles and all the cautions that the other drivers had to deal with. They've put heat cycles in those tires, and they're not quite as efficient as they were before on that fresher rubber. So again, I think that was the call that Stravato needed to make as we see this great battle for 7th with Halpern, Hutton, and Cabot.
Yeah, now Hutton looking to make a move to the inside on Halpern. Halpern really struggling. This run has been slowly trickling down the field. Can imagine that damage not doing him any favors, as right up ahead of them, Kalusa getting to the inside of Jeff Wright. Pass for 5th position complete. Kalusa inside the top 5.
Kalusa's been impressing me today with his climb forward, so we'll have to keep an eye on the number 20 car. 110 laps to go this time by, riding on board with Jeff Wright across the start-finish line. I'm wondering if that damage on the right front of Halpern's car is hurting him at all. We've seen damage in these cars kind of vary in terms of the visual representation of it and the mechanical reality of it. As the caution flies car around in turn 2, didn't see who it was. It's Brian Chambliss in the 9.
Yeah, curious to see what it got him there. I saw Jonathan Hernandez was the driver, I think, driving away from the scene, so we'll see what happened if there was another car involved. This could be another single car incident. They've been very popular so far this afternoon.
Just drove in there way too hot and tried to catch it and couldn't quite do it. Slides to a stop, and then you'll see one of the drivers scatter to miss him, but just got in too hot today and maybe wheel hopped it down into turn 1. Just too much speed, too much rotation, and car just steps out.
Yeah, well, drove in there aggressively and aggressive came around.
Yeah, there it is. All right, Rick Allen.
It's been very fit. It's been working really well for tonight. A lot of these guys have been, especially on the restart too. That seems to be the biggest chance for these guys to loop the cars on the fresh rubber. And speaking of which, I think Stravati's going to be pretty happy and even Jeff Wright too, because Wright only dropped back to 6th, was running well outside the top 10 before. So that the call to get that track position really worked out for them in the end.
It totally worked out. Now they've gained all that track position, and they're going to get to keep it now and have fresh tires and be on the same strategy as everyone else. So that was a big positive for them as they'll come hit pit lane. So our chances for a long green flag run essentially eliminated with that spin in turn 1. And race leader Bailey Turner on pit lane. I think the call from here, 4 tires and fuel. I think Jeff Wright especially knows that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see anyone else maybe looking at what we saw from Stravato and from Jeff Wright. If anyone dares try to gain some track position here, I feel like it is a little bit kind of late in the going to try something like that. Indeed, looking at the times, looks like no one else has tried. Everyone else taking 4 tires, and Bailey Turner coming back out your race leader.
So he will clear the field, and we'll re-rack him, restack him to go back green here in a couple of laps. Reminder of what's happening here on Sim TV the next couple of days. Tomorrow, no GT World Challenge America esports event. That will resume next week from Monza. It'll be myself and Ryan Marine on the GT World YouTube channel. Monday night will be the return of the 3-Wide Racing League Chase at 9:40 Eastern, 8:40 Central. And of course, Tuesday, off. Actually, nope, not off anymore. It'll be the Grid Life iRacers FCP Euro Tour from Brands Hatch with the Audi RS3 TCR. Wednesday, the DC Region STCA with myself and Tom O'Gorman. Thursday, Scars Ferrari Challenge. Friday off. Saturday, we'll be back here on Saturday night at 10 Eastern, 9 Central with the season finale for the regular season with Charlotte Motor Speedway on the schedule. So, closing in on 100 laps to go here. Pick me a favorite. Who's been impressing you the most? I think for me, the obvious favorite probably has to be Stravato or Bailey Turner.
I don't get to pick 2, pick 1.
Okay,
Cheater.
I'll pick Stravato. Points leader, I'll take him.
All right, good. I was gonna say because I wanted to get Bailey Turner looking really fast in this middle part of the race. I've yet to see a bit of a checkup as well. We saw Bowers almost hit the rear end of Ryan Carwile, who's a bit of an underdog. We haven't mentioned him. He's been running really quietly inside the top 5. We saw him battling a little bit earlier with Halpern, but not a whole lot to talk about other than that. But he could be, potential for doing pretty well as Casey Lakatos comes in last second. He's going to now inherit Carwell's second place. So just seeing the 71's got anything.
Yeah, Brendan Bowers, his win this season came at Rockingham, the 5th race of the season. I'll make that 6th race of the season. Then he finished 12th at Kentucky, and then 3 straight top 10s, an 8th, a 6th, and a 5th. So he's due for a top 5 or better heading into this week here at Phoenix. So Bowers is certainly a hot commodity right now in that Menards Chevrolet number 31. So keep an eye on him tonight for sure. And he really didn't have that great of a season until Rockingham. He did have a 5th place at Michigan. But until then, it was 21st, 9th, 5th, and 24th before his win. And then the rash of top 10s that he's had in recent weeks.
Yeah, we'll see if he can do anything with it. Here we go, have a restart. Will we see another caution come out immediately, or will we see this be pretty green like before?
then we're going to get some small runs here in the next little bit. So as we come out of turn 4, green flag will fly again, lap number 66. Turner fires off with 4 fresh Mr. Feelgoods off into turn 1. Carwile on the outside trying to grab the spot away from the 31 of Bowers.
Yeah, very much double file in behind as Carwell trying to defend or really get that position back from Bowers, who's going to immediately clear him on the inside and the back of the dog leg and clear up into turn 3. And Carwell stuck on that outside lane. I don't think he wants to be there at the moment. Eddie Servato charging up the inside.
No, you don't want to be on the outside on the restart. You want to be there 5 or 6 laps after the restart when everyone's single file on the bottom and checking up. On the outside on the initial restart, you're just going to go backwards like Martinsville. You want to be on the bottom to take the short way around. Kalusa has cracked his way inside the top 5, and he's certainly going to be a threat later in this race. But Turner leads the way with Bowers chasing him off into turn 3. Carwile and it looks like Stravato now fighting for 3rd place.
Yeah, Serrato's saying, I let you guys back earlier. Oh, I guess he's not going to be saying that. He's going to be saying I'm a little bit loose coming out of turn 4. Now he's going to say that he let them by a little bit earlier on, didn't really have much to fight with. You're going to see now that he's got those fresh tires. Can he start fighting? But actually got a very poor exit out of turn 2. Kalusa trying to take advantage.
I think Stravato's strength will be on the longer runs tonight, so I'm not sure that he'll be really fast out of the gate. But remember how much quicker he was, or at least how much not slow he was at the end of that previous run on older tires. I think that's where his strength is. That was a Rick Allen comment there. Side by side between 2 Chevrolets, 20 and 33, Kalusa and Stravato into turn 1.
Yeah, great battle, and also him behind them as well. Halpern trying to see those fresh tires help him out as he was slowly dropping down the order. Looks like they're going to continue where they left off as Eric Hutton finally gets past the 26 machine. Moved Eric Hutton into 8th place. It's been a slow climb forward for the Chick-fil-A machine.
I thought that the 26 was going to fix some of that damage, but it either isn't fixable or he didn't take the time to fix it. Still continues to drop down the order, and this is going to be another par for the course weekend for him. Bell trying to go down to the bottom, and Bell was faster earlier in the race, but has gotten mired in traffic and hasn't been able to crack out of it.
Yeah, he's been pretty much around where he started in 10th up into 9th only, fighting off Halpern, who's stuck on the outside. Looks like he's going to get clear of him just now, and still side by side up ahead is Kalusa fighting with the 33 of Aegis Stravato.
100 laps to go here from Phoenix. Bailey Turner leads the way by 0.2 of a second. And Stravato will almost clear the 20 with Kalusa, but he'll throttle up and carry some speed onto the backstretch here, side by side through the dogleg on the apron.
Yeah, you really cannot underestimate those runs out of the corner on the top side. Is really, again, after those first few laps, you can really see that outside coming in. Also, a driver peeking into the picture there. There's the 77 Adam Cap. I haven't seen him near the front really since the start of it. It went to the back after a spin and is now caught back up, essentially. So he could be a favorite here in the later going.
Yeah, I think he could be, and he's about to get his way back inside the top 5 if he takes one of these 2 spots. And that's looking pretty likely with the speed that he's carried here. So a momentary spin is not going to slow his overall progress tonight as we head off into the backside of the track with Kalusa just not going away from the 33. He's like a mosquito in the ear of the points leader right now on the front stretch.
Yeah, and actually, finally, as you say, that he finally gets clear of Stravato, and we'll see now if Kalusa can try to break away, or this is going to put Stravato back into the clutches of Adam Cab. I don't think it's going to matter either way. That 77 looking pretty fast, kind of looking like what Bailey Turner was looking earlier over the last few restarts we had. Speaking of which, Turner is lead over Brandon Bowers almost 0.4 of a second.
Yeah, going back to Cabot, I'm just thinking about a term that Ryan Marine used in the GT Rivals race last week. A cat amongst the pigeons is what he said. And
I like that. I like that a lot.
I like that a lot. He says it isn't original, but I'm going to attribute it to him because I like that a lot. I'm trying to come up with more like John Hindhoff-y expressions. You know,
I feel like you have to be. I feel like you have to be British. They're really good at that. They're just really good at saying.
Ryan pulled off the cat amongst the pigeons thing perfectly. So I feel like you don't have to be British. Maybe you just have to be British or Ryan Marine. So,
well, you're neither, I can tell you that.
So, you said Cabot get real sideways through 1 and 2. That brought Jeff Wright up to the rear bumper. So, I'm not sure Cabot's car is handling exactly how he wants it, but it could be worse at this stage inside the top 10 and climbing.
Well, like, imagine he's kind of forcing the car a little bit to do his bidding, because he's trying to, again, still make up from earlier in the race. You mentioned started up in second place and is only back in sixth, so he's been pushing hard. And you know, when you ask the car a lot forward, you're going to really burn out your tires and start getting a little bit slidey, as we saw a few parts in the later part of the last long green flag run we had. So he does have to start managing his stuff at some point, and he can't keep pushing all the time. And that's what I've been kind of concerned with Brandon Bowers, but he's actually starting to reel in Bailey Turner quite a bit. The gap down 110 to now just about 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, Bowers' long run pace has been here all night, and it's really encouraging to me to see Bowers really start to stitch races together. And I think breaking through at Rockingham earlier this year did wonders for this driver. And we've always said that, Finian, that breaking through and getting a victory is as important for your ego as it is for your stats book. And I think for Bowers to get that victory, that certainly gives you the confidence you need to go up there and do it again. And on track tonight, he looked like he's about to have a chance to do just that again.
Yeah, because he's always been one no one has ever doubted his abilities to qualify on pole. He's been exceptionally good at that, having really good short run pace. But yeah, now when you start to get the long run pace in the mix as well, that's when you really start to become a threat, which he's shown to be all night long. Has been, I don't think he's even dropped outside the top 5 all night.
No, he's been really the common denominator up here. With all the rotating, revolving doors inside the top 5, he's been the most constant force so far. See the 26 of Halpern now having pressure from the 99 behind him. And Sam Devontier in that number 99, he was a threat at Road Atlanta before he ended up getting turned around. So the 99 car has been in position to win a couple races this year. Hasn't really stitched it all together. But I'm not going to say that he's my pick to win, but I wouldn't count him out from getting up inside the top 5 before this is said and done.
Yeah, let's see if that is going to be the case. Is starting to get into a bit of a rhythm here. Is definitely starting to get those longer green flag runs. So besides really, I think you're mentioning AJ Estravato and even Brandon Bowers. Anyone else you think that might benefit from a longer green flag run?
Well, I always look at a guy like Jeff Wright. I think he does a little bit better on the longer runs. Looking down, even Angelo Ronis will do better on the longer runs. But other than that, I think a lot of the drivers in this series have really perfected the short to medium length run because that's what they've been good at. I mean, outside of Racing League races are always generally fairly green, but they do have an occasional caution that will split things up. So most of our races will go 30, 40, 50 laps and then be split by a caution. And that's really what everyone's gotten good at and has practiced so well, and has sort of catered their driving to that. So they'll run 50 laps and then they'll be completely dead in terms of their tires. So I think most drivers are sort of good at that. I think Turner, Stravato, and others I mentioned are really the ones that you got to watch in the longer runs.
Looking at Austin Carpe and Brian Chambliss duking it out for a 13th position. Carpe is going to win on that outside line, which we've seen time and time again be the place to be, at least coming off of turn 4. A lot of drivers have been able to seal the deal off that corner in particular. Jeremiah Vincent, haven't seen him since he was thinking about staying out earlier on in the race. He's been back in 15th.
Great battle going on here for Jeremiah Vincent. Started in 24th up to 15th spot, and now watching Chambliss and Carpe go at it. And nose to tail, there's a pass for position. Carwile down the inside of Bowers. That is for second place. I wonder if Bowers ran a slow lap or if
no, I think so. I think something happened. I want to take a look at what happened because I think there's something else here. It looks like he just kind of caught up to him. I don't particularly see anything in particular. Just drove up to him and got around. I think Bowers might be just starting to struggle. He might have pushed his tires a little bit too far.
Surprised by that because he seemed like he was trending in the right direction, so maybe he just peaked too soon and is dropping off pace-wise now. Turner leads by a second, and now I'm feeling a little bit less confident in my pick and more confident in yours as we are past the halfway point at this point. I think we're about to hit the halfway point almost exactly as we come around turn number 4 and start lap 85.
Yeah, completion of this lap should be halfway, and Bailey Turner looking pretty strong. I wanted to take a look at the lap times. Turner's still one of the fastest guys. I think was the fastest guy on track last time through. Carwell not too terribly far off. I am curious to see if he can try to close that distance, or unless it just, Bailey Turner looks like he's been managing his stuff pretty well up in the front so far. Again, the run still pretty short, only been out here for around 20 laps, so never quite know, but he's just starting to get quite a bit of a lead, and here comes Adam Cabot with quite a bit of speed, trying to work now on Bryce Calusa for 4th.
So I'm trying to think about when you want to make your final pit stop. I think we can do it on one more stop, but what are you going to aim for? Are you going to aim for lap 100, 110? push it all the way to the end of the tank and go 120, or are you thinking maybe sooner than that?
I think I want to go around 120 because, or 110, between 110 and 120 because they've currently been out here for around 20 or so laps. You can add maybe another 20 or so to that. It'll put you at around 105 or so. Actually, maybe another 30 laps. So you cut this into around 50 lap splits. I think would probably be the best way to approach this. So some guys might try to do the overcut, undercut. We'll have to see.
And now singling out into turn 3, there's the 77, and his rocketing forward has put him all the way into 4th and continuing to climb. So the 77 is going to be a force before too long, and don't believe he'll be chase eligible with his season the way he's run it, but he's certainly grabbing victory. Same thing with Connor Horn. They've been stealing victories left and right and will not be running for a championship or will not be competitive once the championship season starts. But you see Cabot going for 3rd place now on Bowers, and he should have this by the time they exit turn 4. He's got it.
Indeed he does. So Bowers definitely looking like he burned his tires to have gone and jumped off a cliff. Maybe jumped off the nearby mountain.
Is look at the back. If we could ride on board maybe with the 33 of AJ Stravato.
He has damage, yeah.
The back, yeah, I think he's gotten run into, and I don't remember seeing that there even a little while ago. So I wonder if maybe it was Carlisle that gave the 31 a good punt before he managed to get by.
No, I did look at it before. It was there before the restart. I did also notice he had that damage, so I don't think that. I think he might have just overdrove it, or at some point in the run, or has been slowly overdriving it. Speaking of which, these guys sideways coming flying off of turn 4. You see Stravato now working to the outside of Calusa and up, and potentially the 31 as well.
Yeah, burning out those rear tires quite a bit, though. We're getting a little bit deeper in this run, and I think the drivers are starting to wear out the right rears, and you tend to do that at this racetrack, especially in turns 3 and 4. When you're kind of ringing the outside, you're putting a lot of load on that right rear tire and burning it up quite a bit. I don't think it's uncommon to see one of your biggest tire loads to be on that right rear. Oh, big issue for the 31 car. He's slow on the front stretch. 2, 3, 4 cars all passing him, and Bowers is off pace. What's going on? Is the 88's offline out of control?
Yeah, someone looks like they dropped oil on the track. I'm not sure what the 31. He didn't even look loose coming off the corner. It was just really slow. I think might have backed out of it.
Downshift.
Yeah. It looked like he missed a shift, which is bizarre because he shouldn't be anywhere near the gear shift here. I don't think he should be, but he's really struggling now. He's back all the way to 7th place.
Yeah, and you see Alex Bell kicking the rear end out as well. So a lot of drivers beginning to struggle with rear end grip, but too soon to pit now for sure. I would wait another 10 to 15, maybe 20 laps before you start to hit pit lane. So I think there's we're kind of in this area where you don't want to hit pit lane just yet, but you need to make the car last a couple more laps before you can make that call. Out front, though, Bailey Turner leads by 1.4 seconds and continues to grow that lead over Ryan Carlisle every lap.
Yeah, he's been the class of the field so far in this, at least the middle part of this race. Looking like he can continue this on till the end. We'll have to see if he's able to do so, but it's going to take, I think, a lot. Some may say almost divine intervention to take this race from him. I would think it all he really need is a caution to potentially take this away from him, especially with the 77 of Cabot now that he's back inside the top 3.
Bailey Turner has one victory this season. It came back at Darlington, the 5th round of the season. And his last couple of finishes, 6th at Indianapolis, 3rd at Chicago, 11th at Road Atlanta, 5th at Kentucky, 4th at Rockingham. So, like I mentioned, the start of the season was rough for the 24, but since then, with the exception of Road Atlanta, he has been rock solid. I think a weakness for him might be Sonoma in the chase. I think Charlotte next week will be right up his alley. Talladega is a crapshoot, as everyone knows. And, of course, Dover, Iowa, I don't think we've been there recently enough to really know who's good there.
Bailey Turner continuing out his lead. He's about to put Casey Lakatos a lap down. Lakatos not having a particularly good race, although he's inside the top 20. And we talked about that attrition rate. Started with 29. We got 19 left running on the track. So Phoenix claiming quite a few drivers, and as we got a battle here, bringing him behind. This is for 5th place between Wright, Calusa, and Alex Bell. Yeah,
and Jeff Wright, I think he's doing what he needs to do in keeping as few cars between him and the 33 as possible. While they're friendly, they're also in competition for a season championship, and they're heading to Jeff Wright's one of his best racetracks statistically, Sonoma, in 2 weeks as he gets in the fence out of turn 2. Look at Calusa out of control on the backstretch, trying to gather it back up. He does. He'll lose a spot to the 15 of Bell and maybe to the 31 of Bowers, who go the long way around.
Yeah, well, we're seeing a lot of driver errors now with these tires wearing off. We saw it right there with Wright hitting the wall and then Calusa getting sideways. So these guys are really starting to struggle on their tires. I think we were also kind of seeing, I think, maybe some of the drivers that might have been using up their stuff a little bit more. They're starting to suffer first.
Now down the backstretch, the 48 with that slide from the 20 car. They'll put him out of contention for the 5th spot, but Bell knocking on the door, driving forward again. And while he was kind of mired in the back half of the top 10 for the middle portion of this race, he's starting to pick up some pace towards the end. Also note that the sun is beginning to get fairly low in the sky, and while I don't expect this race to go deep into the night, we could see the conditions change a little bit, the track rubber in a little bit differently as it goes on. It hasn't really cooled down very much, but I think the way the rubber will interact with the tire might change in the final 70 laps or so.
Yeah, I think we're about to see. Sure, these guys are going to hope for this track to get cooler, although, again, it is pretty cool at 85, at the track time being 85 degrees, so I think that they're going to be hoping for anything they can get, because they're definitely struggling on these tires, especially at this point in the run.
Closing in on 70 to go. You see the 48 big bobble through the middle, and he chases the car up the track.
He's actually spinning off of turn 2.
Oh, he's going to try to hang on to it. Lock it down, buddy. Spin, and around goes the 48 on the backstretch. Caution is out, and I think that forces the pit stop for everybody. And, well, Jeff Wright will break up the strategy here.
Let's see what happened to him. Oh, this actually started right there. You can see a little bit of a wiggle, and then coming off of turn 2, around she went.
And he almost had it saved here. Jukes back to the right, locks it down, then loops to the left, and triggers the caution flag with that car stationary on the apron. So that eliminates our strategy. I think for the most part, we can make it to the end from here, Finian, but I was worried about the tires making it another 75 laps.
Yeah, I think that is a big ask, and we might honestly see we might actually just see a caution come out before these guys even have to make a decision, kind of like what we saw in this run. So we went around as these guys are coming into the pits now. We went about 37 laps on this stint of tires, so looking like we might be doing another one. I think these drivers might want to keep an eye at around lap 30 of just a caution coming out, not even having to really pit or worry about fuel, I don't think, which I don't even think it should be a concern until the end of the race.
No, I didn't think fuel would be. I think the tires are the limiting factor here tonight. So I think this is not the money stop. I think we've got at least one more to go, as you mentioned. But Bailey Turner hits pit lane again. We'll see the car go up on jacks for Mr. Feelgoods, as one of the cars, Casey Lacatus, just rolled on through again. Or is that Stravato that rolled on through?
Yes, it was Stravato that rolled on through. That's an interesting choice. Definitely going to be a costly one.
I don't know why he would have done it unless he completely missed his stall, which would be a devastating mistake.
I
don't see why you do that voluntarily at this point.
Yeah, I also, this is, I think, what, the 5th time? No, it's not the 5th time. This is the 3rd time a lot of these guys come down pit road. I'd be surprised if you didn't know his stall yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a chance to get a distraction, but
this
now
is
he'll
cost
hit
him.
pit lane.
It's going to cost him a
big
lot.
Mistake.
So he's going to drop way down to the back of the order. And, if you do this on lap 5, that's one thing. You do it on lap 105, that's a completely different story, because he's going to have to try to make up as many spots here. He's going to drop all the way back to around, it seems. We got 18 guys left running.
So how does this work? Do you think that he could go to the end from here and just plan to make this his final stop, and that maybe that's why he's going back here?
Maybe, but that's. I mean, I don't see why he would do that though. Well, because again, we've seen if we've seen a lot of green flags on, that's one thing. But we've seen guys spinning out left, right, and center. So, and I can bet that we're going to have a few more cautions. So I don't know why you would bet that it's going to be a fuel mileage thing here. That's a bit risky, as he's going to be back in 15th position.
So my thought is when he avoided coming to pit lane earlier, that was lap 25. We didn't get another green flag run until lap 55-ish or so. So maybe I'm just completely speculating here. He made this pit stop at the tail of the field with the presumption that when that caution happens in 10 to 15, maybe 30 laps, he will stay out, and then he will stay out front for the rest of the race as the race concludes under caution. That's a big risk, but I don't think it's completely impossible. I think it's actually, based on the trends, sort of likely. I'm just not sure that that's the way to win the race.
It's like a 4D chess move right there.
I mean,
that's how he hopes it's gonna work out. We'll see if it was that.
I don't know. as the points leader, I'm not sure I'd be playing games like that, but it could. I mean, it could be, or I could be giving him way too much credit and he just missed his box, or he just didn't check the lap counter before he made that decision.
Yeah, we'll have to see if he did plan that or if it was just a really big mistake. But I mean, I guess on the bright side, he's the points leader, so well, he can't necessarily afford to make those mistakes. He's got a bit of a cushion. But here coming to the restart with Bailey Turner, Adam Cabot, Ryan Carwell, Alex Bell, Bryce Calusa, your top 5. And we got the pace car coming into pit road this time by. And here we go, green flag back in the air here at Phoenix. Heading on down into turn 1, as you see Bailey Turner, Adam Cabot. And then we have the 71 of Ryan Carlos side by side with Alex Bell. Almost hits the wall in turn 2 coming off the corner.
Side by side down the backstretch, the 71 on the bottom of the racetrack under the 15. He's going to try to grab that position away, but Adam Cabot is there and ready to party. Can he run down Bailey Turner potentially? We haven't seen him this high up the order since way earlier in the race.
We'll see, but also one driver looking to gain some spots. Bell, a bit of a dive to the inside of Carl, who's up the track. Don't want to be there on the restart, and he almost gets the wall off at turn 2, trying to keep the car under control. Looks like Bell going to dive way down below on the dogleg. He's going to take 3rd place away, so Bell up inside the top 3 for the first time this race.
Yeah, Carwell definitely did scrape the wall at the exit at turn number 2. See Bell up 7 spots from where he started. Carwell back to 4th, Bowers in 5th. And again, AJ Stravato restarting in 11th.
Oh,
turned in turn 1. That's going to be a spin and a caution. He's going to nose into the outside wall, and that's going to be a fairly sizable hit for the 88 of Hutton.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because this day was actually looking really solid inside of the top 5. I think, trying to see who was involved in that.
There's definitely contact from what I saw. It was the 99. Devontier gets into him, turns him, almost has it saved, and noses fairly hard into the outside wall, and the 42 of Floyd just misses what could have been a pretty devastating impact.
Yeah, trying to see, I'm trying to see if he just misses braking point or what was that. I imagine it was that. I just got into the brakes just a bit too late. Around he went.
AJ Stravato just carving his way through that, Vinny. That's the risk of the call that he had, is going back into traffic like that. That could have been a bigger collision and involved the 33, but he got lucky there, and he'll restart 10th if everybody stays where they are.
Yeah, I think with that, I'll take another little quick break to catch our breath here, because I think these last 60-some laps are going to be pretty exciting, so don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Back live here at Phoenix Raceway with 60 laps to go here in the Outside iRacing League from the 1 mile oval in Avondale, Arizona. It's been a caution-filled and calamity-filled race here with 2 races left until the chase here. For the lead, it's the 24 and the 77, Turner and Cabot. 60 laps to go from Phoenix. Green flag back in the air, Finian, as they rumble down to turn 1.
Oh boy, they're 3 wide back and behind, at least for a moment, though. Stravado to the inside.
Going to get turned.
Oh.
And he's in the fence in turn 1. Caution back out.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. I thought it was going to be a wreck in the back. Turner was in the front, and some decent damage for the 71 of Ryan Carl, who's having such a good day. I'll go a little bit further.
There was
back.
contact, I think, with the 26 of Halper, and he's going to split right here. He's going to go middle 3 wide, just get in there really deep, too deep in turns of 71. He's going to slam the outside wall. A shame, because he had been having a really good night up to that point.
Okay, check out what happened to the 26, because I feel like a few more cars might have been involved as well. He went for a spin in turn 2. It looks like
Stravado missed it. Oh man, that was dicey.
Heads up driving by everyone there. I'm amazed that Noah hit him. That was right in the middle of the racing line.
These guys do a generally really good job avoiding wrecks once they start, but tonight they've been having trouble avoiding starting them.
Let's just see you take a look here at AJ Servato's point of view, because he's been in the thick of a lot of these things since his incident on pit road.
And whoops to the inside. Now I think he's got an extra gallon or so of fuel. And while the tire difference isn't really going to matter, again, he's making up a lot of track position that he had lost when he pit later under that caution sequence. So I don't really understand it. So he's back up pretty much where he was running before.
It somehow worked out for him in the end.
It always does. There's some seasons for drivers that even when things go wrong, they go right, and that's the kind of season Stravado is having. If we have a look at his season in 2020, at least the fall season, AJ, of course, 10 starts, 1 win to speak of last week in Indianapolis. I'm just gonna read off his finishing positions this season: 10th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 5th, 2nd, 30th, 1st. I mean, other than Chicagoland, it has been every race has been a top 10 for AJ, and it's really hard to get a season like that in a field that's competitive.
Yeah, and I mean, even you look at last season too, did very well last season. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, took 2 or 3 wins.
I think he had 3, and he hasn't won as much this season, but he's been mighty consistent. We've seen in the past that race wins are not what gets you championships in ORL. It's definitely consistency, and that's what Stravado has this season.
Yeah, finished runner-up to the season champion. That was Connor Horn last time around. So I'm interested in seeing if Stravado can get the deed done this season. Definitely is one of the, wouldn't necessarily say favorites, but definitely one of the drivers that has got a really solid shot, especially compared to season past. It's amazing to see he's like a completely different driver.
Well, it's been kind of fun to have Finian back in the booth and be back in the booth with Finian tonight. I was just making sure that I don't get fired, basically. No, I don't think we've done a stream together since what would that have been?
Probably Ferrari. Ferrari or Weekend Warriors around then, so that would have been like around September.
Yeah, it's been a couple months. It's the longest we've gone without doing one together.
Yeah, and I've done a few, and just not with you. And
you've done more than a few. You've kept SimTV alive and running the last 3 months while I try to figure out what life means. But it's really just been complicated because of all the travel, because the travel wasn't expected. So we basically planned a bunch of streams without considering a very, very busy travel schedule. And for 2021, it's going to look a little different, where there's a couple leagues that are not returning. And then, of course, next year will be more of a schedule around Kyle, not Kyle's schedules around you sort of deal. So it'll look a little bit different next year, but Finian will finally get the break that he deserves, where he can just log off forever and never come back, even though I will be sad.
I'll still be around if you need me. Looking for. I actually. I enjoy doing these in small capacities. It's nice to come back once in a while. I think
you probably don't want to do them quite as much as you've been doing them, though.
No, not with the amount of other stuff I got going on. If I didn't have other stuff going on, I would totally come back. But life definitely threw me a curveball in a way. Threw you a curveball.
Dude, tell me about it. I live in Chicago now.
Yeah.
Working for a racing company. I got to. They had a name tag for me at the Indianapolis Media Center. Very weird. All right, here we go. Lap 116. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. Bailey Turner clears down into turn 1. Here comes Alex Bell up the inside for a second. He'd like to grab a spot away Didn't Alex Bell win a race here before a couple seasons ago, or get awful close to it?
I think he's something of the sort. He's definitely done pretty well in the past. Looking to see if he can do pretty well this time around here. He's fighting up for second, but Adam Cabot sitting in third as well. Our top three, our top five, in fact. Obviously, any single driver in the top four, top five at the moment has got a shot at winning this race.
Cross the line now, lap 117. Oh, big slide in the background. Some cars all over the place. There's a car, a purple car. I think it might have been the 99, perhaps, that was making a slice and a dice. No, it might have been Licata. It was one of those drivers, but that got a little dicey for the top spot. They've sorted it out. And Stravado now working his way back inside the top five. And Brandon Bowers, for the strength that he showed in the 60% mark of this race, he has started to drop off a little bit in efficacy as the 33 goes through.
Yeah, trying to have a little bit of an over-under back on the front straightaway. Couldn't quite get it done. Was able to rebound. I think definitely the short runs have been benefiting this 31 car. Fell off a cliff in the last long green flag run he had. I think he's kind of hoping we get some short sprints to the end. Otherwise, I think it's going to be rinse and repeat up in the front. However, Bell looking very racy with the 24.
Yeah, definitely not rinse and repeat for Alex Bell. He has joined a new team this season, is kind of bounced around in the last couple years in that number 15 car, but again, a Sim Motorsports driver this time through, and he is currently fourth in the standings. It has been a pretty good season for him. He's had 2 18ths, but every other finish has been in the top 10 this season, mostly at the back half of the top 10, though. So he's looking to get some more finishes closer to the front half of the top 10, and that's where he is right now. His best finish on the season so far is a second back at Michigan in October, so he would like to match that or best it here tonight at Phoenix.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get it done. He's got one more driver to pass to really change that. And Kim, really curious in looking at Bailey Turner, if he's pushing right now, if he's trying to conserve his stuff with the 15 bearing down. Well, we have absolutely no clue what's this 24 been up to up in front. He definitely does look pretty comfortable, though, all things considered.
50 laps to go here from Phoenix. That means 50 miles remaining in this race. And with about 30 seconds every lap, just under that, we should be about 20 minutes away from finishing this one out here. On the East Coast, it's 11:24. That means we'll be done by about 11:45. Angelo Ronis now fighting that 31 car for the top 5 position. Ronis, again, one of those drivers I always think plays the long game and sort of shows up at the end. That Adidas Ford Mustang is looking pretty racy now at the back half of the top 5.
Yeah, he's looking nowhere near the front of the field earlier on in this race. He's kind of come out of nowhere here in the later going, just outside the top 5. Definitely has a shot at doing so if he can just kind of run consistently. It's been a very quiet race, and we've said many times, sometimes those are the best races, and it's about to start getting pretty loud up in front. Big block by the 24 to turn 3.
Yeah, he's definitely means business now, and Alex Bell knows that he's putting that pressure on when he sees that 24 make that defensive maneuver. That is a weakness for Alex Bell to spot and take advantage of as they come across the line. One car length between them off into turn 1. Bell a little quicker right now.
You can just see he's got a really good run on the back half of the track here. Coming out of turn 2 is where Bell was able to get really close to the 24 Bailey Turner. I don't think Turner's going to throw a block this time, but I think feels pretty comfortable with the gap. But definitely, as you mentioned, I think that's showing that definitely showed the 24. He's concerned about that 15.
Through 3 and 4 across the line again. And now it's a 2-car breakaway, a full second back to find Adam Cabot. I'm not sure that he'll be much of a threat unless these front two continue to battle and waste time together. AJ Stravado, let's keep an eye on his lap times, though, because he is a driver I think can still win this race if he can get through that 77 and chase down Bell and Turner. He's on it for the top spot, I think. But the 15 and Turner are still the ones going at it here at lap 125.
And get curious, talk about tires. So these guys might be burning their stuff out quite a bit. It is a concern considering how loose we've seen some of these drivers get in the middle part of the run. That could be a factor. Could still have another caution before the end of it, but I don't think Bell really cares much about his tires except trying to use them as much as he can to get past the 24 Bailey Turner. He's calmed down and now for a little bit, but I might see him mount another charge here shortly.
Through 3 and 4. 1 car length is now separated out to a car length and a half, so I think Bell's got to be careful not to use up his stuff trying to run down this 24 car, Finney. And it's so easy to get excited when you're this close and overexert your car and your tires. It's a non-renewable resource at this point. If the race goes green to the end, you've got what you've got, and Bell can't waste that all right now.
You saw Bell with a very big dive into turn 3, and then also gets quite a bit back on exit. Definitely seems to be stronger in 3 and 4 than the 24 car. but still not quite as close enough. Not as close enough since we saw that block early on. And do you think maybe he's kind of saving his tires up for one last charge, or do you think he's just trying to maybe force the 24 into a mistake?
I don't really know. I haven't really seen or paid attention to Bell. Again, wow, big dive into turn 3. He's been sort of quiet this season, just kind of by the back half of the top 10. I think right now he might be pushing a little bit too hard. As you say that, he almost gets in the fence out of turn 4. I think that analysis is pretty clear. What do you think, Vinny?
Yeah, I think so. Almost took out the 24 there. Barely made the corner entry, barely made the corner exit, but definitely lost quite a bit of time there. Looking back at Adam, Cabot, Travato, and Bowers sitting just in the back half of the top 5, looking at what's going on ahead.
Yeah, I think Bell's trying a little bit too hard right now. He was within range, and if he had just kind of calmed down and tried to beat the 24 in the long run, that would have been a good move to make. I think what his idea was, if he could get out in front of the 24, he could hold him up, maybe make him burn up the tires trying to get back by, but he wasn't able to complete that pass. Now that he's kind of settling back in, let's see if he can refocus. Looked like he gained a little bit 1 and 2 this time. I still think he's faster. If he can focus that energy, he's still a threat.
I definitely think he's still can be a threat here as they come flying off at turn 4. Curious to see the lap times this time. But I had a bit of a cleaner lap. 27.639 for Bell, 27.7 flat for Bailey Turner. So made up a little less than a tenth, but still closing in. So he hasn't lost touch of him just yet.
Coming to 40 laps to go. Yay.
Bless you, sir.
I don't have a mute button on my really shoddy microphone setup here tonight, so I just tried to hold in my sneeze, and I think my insides are about to explode. 40 laps to go as we head into turn 1. And Turner that time a 3.5 lead off into the first corner. Bell keeps that gap sort of constant, 3.5 car lengths as they come out of 2. But Cabot, I'm watching that gap. It is under a second now. Hasn't been much of a gain, but it definitely has not been a loss for that 77.
He's been the one to keep an eye on, too. I want to take a look at his lap times. He was a tenth faster than our leaders last lap through, and as he come flying across the line this time by still a few hundredths faster. So he is starting to make some time, and also look who's riding behind him, your pick for this race, the 3380 Stravato right in tow.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Stravato's got the pace to win tonight, but he's on par now with the 77, and if Cabot gets there, that will bring the 33 with him as well. Bell, look at the gain that he has in 3 and 4. It's just a couple hundredths at a time again, but I still think that 15 might be a little faster, at least in the short term here. Nobody else much of a threat right now. The battles are all up front.
Yeah, definitely keeping an eye on these two up in front. It could get spicy here. Do you think Bell, he might be a bit desperate here, considering he's got a win dangling right in front of him?
Yeah, well, we saw that earlier. He almost put the car in the parking lot trying to get to the 24 in turn 4. Didn't get there. And, well, I think he was trying to play, Miley Cyrus wrecking ball with the safer barrier. I think we're pretty clear that Alex Bell wants to win this race. I just don't know if he's got the pace to get it.
Someone managed to insert Miley Cyrus into an iRacing broadcast. Oh, no! I speak about a ball!
Came in like a wrecking bell. So,
oh my god!
Oh no!
That was too perfect right there.
I put that in the world and I can't retract it. I'm sorry, Alex, but
he's gonna have a few more problems on his hand besides what Kyle just said. Is he's got the 77 and the 33 bearing down. I think Bell, he's starting to work up his stuff. And this is interesting too because we were talking about. Remember last time he had a caution ending along green flag run. So around lap 37, we've just about reached that point. We're starting to see those tires fall up at the 77. He's way out of line.
I was going to say, just like the music video, there's a lot of people staring at Bell's rear end right now as they come out of turn 4. It's getting real busy back there. As we hit 35 laps to go, I'm sorry. I'm fired.
You can fight by yourself.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Is that how self-employment works?
Right in front of me. Oh.
Anyway, race. Right, the race. We got Bell. I'm curious to see what Cabot's going to do. If he's going to try, we're talking about guys getting desperate. If Cabot's going to try anything, because he may have a shot at chasing Turner here, but he's definitely got to get past his 15.
Well, that's priority number 1 right now, but if he can't get past Bell, I think Turner will be long gone. It's a 0.7 of a second gap with less than 35 to go. We're down to the last 15, 14 minutes of this race, Finian, and that's a pretty short time to run down someone by a second. So they've got to get this done, and I don't think they're afraid to use the bumpers if they need to get it done.
Yeah, we'll see. That bumper might start coming into play here. Looking at Cabot so close to that 15. I think he knows that Bell is definitely starting to struggle with his tires right now. He's gotten out of sync after a few close incidents with the wall. And you see him really high on the exit off of turn 2. Cabot keeping it nice and tight, although he's a bit squirrely as well.
Off into turn 3 as we close into 30 laps to go. Oh, big slide for the 15 off the apron in 3 and 4. Cabot putting that pressure on. If he could carry the speed onto the front stretch, he could have this position. But they're actually staying fairly close to Turner. 6/10 back now at the line. That was a gain from the previous lap. And Cabot now knocking on the door for second place.
Yeah, curious when he is going to finally start to make a move. He's been so close. He's within diving distance, especially into turn 3. Just a matter of making it stick there. You can see a bit of a lunge there towards the back. Going to try to do it over under. Going to try to go below the yellow line here.
Yeah, the yellow line thing, I just don't know if you can get a good run coming up off the corner. I think if you really dive down there entering 3, you can get the job done with a slide job. But we haven't really seen that be an efficient move tonight. But 0.8 of a second back from Turner now. They are beginning to lose time. There'll be 30 laps to go next time by. And Cabot is feeling the pressure. Stravato just watching from behind. Stravato's night is going just fine. I don't think you risk your car at this point. I think you just see what the 77 does and take advantage of it if he gets the door open.
Yeah, I'm still amazed he was able to find his way still back inside the top 5 after being put back in the middle of the field. Almost had 2 close incidents with getting caught up in other people's messes under some cautions. As you see, I think I saw a bit of a bump from the from the 77 to the 15. As I think he's starting to lose his patience a little bit here.
Off into turn 3, nose to tail, all for second place in this race. The penultimate race in the regular season. We head to Charlotte next week. Big wiggle out of turn 4. Bailey Turner driving away, loving what he sees in the mirror here. Not only the Arizona sunset, but the drivers getting smaller. Bell, Cabot, Stravato becoming pinpoints in the rearview mirror for that leading number 24 Chevrolet.
Yeah, I think he's kind of rooting for Alex Bell at this point because he knows Bell's not going to catch him unless something else occurs. So he's going to just hope that he keeps just holding at 77 and the 33 up, because then he can have an easy cruise to victory lane. Although if these guys get together like here, we might see them happen here as you see a dive from the inside for the 77.
Cabot needs to get by to set sights on that 24 car side by side as they come up off of turn 2. The 15 digging, getting those rear tires dug in the ground. Now the 77 goes by, and he completes that pass for second. Here comes Stravato now for third.
It looked like 15 Bell was struggling to get the power down off of turn 2. Is a little bit too loose, and now he's going to lose 2 positions on the back straightaway itself as Stravato going to get his way on by for third place. So now Adam Cabot up into second place. He's going to have his sights set on the 24 Turner up ahead, just over a second with about 30, make that less than 30 laps to go.
This race has been defined by comers and goers, but Bailey Turner has been the one constant at the top of the order so far. 1.1 seconds is the gap for Cabot here with 35 laps to go, or actually I think it'll be 25 laps to go next time by, if I'm doing my math correctly.
Yeah, I think
yes,
that's right.
I am. So as we head off into 1, I'm also keeping an eye on the bottom half of the top 10 because look who has worked their way back inside it. Remember Casey Lakatos? He was crashed opening the race, and here he is back battling for 10th, 9th, and 8th right in front of him, too. Whoa! Yeah. Big slide for the 29.
You see these guys starting to get sketchy on their tires here again. We're kind of reaching that point where someone throws it in the corner the wrong way. They could very much loop it around. But I was wanting to look at this battle because I saw the gap's getting pretty close. Finally have a chance of looking at it right, working his way through past Ronis and Lakatos. Also slow climb forward. I'm still amazed by this because he was a lap down at one point.
Lakatos has worked really hard tonight to get positions back. 146 laps in, and he's effectively gone no places. That's got to be frustrating.
I think, well, on the bright side, it's a lot better than some other people can claim. So he's been doing pretty well, especially considering it's a top 10.
It just feels bad when you look at where you started and where you're running, and after 146 laps of busting every muscle you got to try to get up into the top 10, you're exactly where you started. That's a lot of effort to feel like you've gone nowhere, but he's doing a good job. Oh, he's sideways!
Might have spoke a little too soon. Several drivers in behind him getting sideways as well. 3 wide off of turn 2.
No, I shouldn't have said anything. Commentator Kurt's going to catch Casey out here tonight.
Yeah, it might not be over just yet. He's pulled him back in behind. Ronis now back in 11th place, trying to see if he can get those spots back.
I wonder how drivers are going to feel at the end of the night. Typically, they like setups that are very loose and slidey to let you drive the car, but seems like tonight they're going to find it probably more annoying than they are driver friendly.
Yeah, as you can see, it looks like more like the car's driving them. Especially as you see Rowan, as you can see the back end hanging out. Lakatos also a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit more of a wiggle as you go up the hill.
I'm just shocked that it's this loose. And I'm shocked that they're seeing more of this in turns 1 and 2 than they are in 3 and 4. You'd think that you'd have more mechanical grip off in the turns 1 and 2 section because of the extra banking.
He's a little bit loose off of there as well.
Gathers it back up, closing in on 20 laps to go. The lead is not closing at all. Turner leads by 1.3 seconds. The battle right now continues to be for that 10th spot between Lakatos and others.
Yeah, and also Bell bearing down on the 33, but not much change there. We go back to that battle brewing up, further back in the field. Jeff Wright in 8th, Sam Devantier in the 99 in 9th place, with Ronis trying to hold up everyone else in behind him.
I'm really going to ask Sam how you pronounce his last name, because I thought it was Devantier.
I'm pretty sure he told me. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he told me it was Devantier one time.
Crap. How is he Australian and French at the same time?
I don't know. Australia's a weird country, right?
Are you allowed to be that?
Are you allowed to be French in Australia?
Yeah, like, is that like a combination that is the thing?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe.
Like, what does a French and Australian accent sound like together? Oh, that's going to be good. That's going to be real good.
We need to find someone who's French and Australian and see that. That would be very weird.
I want a baguette, mate. Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of racist. I'm sorry. 20 laps to go. As we go up to the battle for, please forgive me, 3rd place battle between the 33 and the 15. Bumping each other for that spot. Ooh. Big slide for the 33 out of turn 2.
Man, I don't want to bunt someone, considering how loose it is, could easily send that person around. As you see Bell now able to make a move to the inside, so Servato is struggling to get past, although I feel like this might not be the last thing done. We might see Servato try to something back here. He wants the top 3, I would imagine.
I would imagine so. I mean, that's the whole goal, isn't it? Get up there and run good. Yeah. I want to finish 5th tonight.
Well, speaking of 5th, looking at Brandon Bowers and Bryce Calusa duke it out. Bowers, I'm a bit surprised. As he's getting a little bit loose, a little bit close to the ball. Got a little scrape of it as well. But he's starting to struggle now.
Do we have a caution, or do we make it to the green all the way to the checkers?
I honestly think we have a caution. Already we've seen how many guys just bobble just a little bit. You can only imagine. This is the furthest we've gone on a green flag run, so we're in uncharted territory for a lot of these drivers here. They can't really get a grasp of how the car is going to handle from here on. I mean, you can imagine it's going to get loose, but I don't think really any of them know how loose it's going to get. And once it starts to get loose, you only got a fraction of a second to save it. So I would be honestly quite surprised if we don't have another caution.
Some drivers would say it's like driving a wrecking ball on a chain. And with 16 laps to go, Cabot was able to reel in Turner by a 10th, but it's not enough. I think Turner has got this thing on lockdown if it stays green. But that's really the question, is in the last 15 or 16 laps, will it stay green? You think it will not. I'm going to say it will. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that we do make it to the end under green. And for Bailey Turner, I think he'll tie for the most victories this season, which is only 2, I think that's the smallest multiple victory total we've had ever.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right with that. I think.
I mean, I don't remember any time that we didn't have a driver that had at least 3 or more victories.
Yeah, I think you're right.
At least in outsider league, at least in the outsider league. I can't speak to Fuel or anything else, but.
Yeah, we'll see if anyone's willing to change that, especially if you got quite a few more races coming up. Especially
not if they all want to finish 5th. They're all going to be fighting for 5th spot. It's like a Max Vance race.
Oh, no! Oh. There's the caution!
Nope, not yet. There it is. Dang it! Zach Halpern. Bad luck continues for him. Caution out with 14 to go, and as Larry Mack would say, this changes everything.
Yeah, I'm happy I was right. Live up to my name as Discount Larry Mack.
And your pick is leading the race, too.
Oh, wow, in the dogleg. I mean, I'm not too surprised. I've seen a few guys get just a little bit loose, but not to a point where you're wrecking off the turn. So I think that just showed you the state of stuff. Whoa, and actually, there's Casey Lakatos had a bit of a incident before that. ZZ Casey go out of frame right there. He was able to save it after knocking a cone, and then there's Halpern.
What the heck happened? He just snapped loose. That was the weirdest thing I had seen in a while. Car just steps out in the middle of the... That's the strangest thing.
Might have been the line. He was taking a bit of a narrow line through that dog leg, and again, with the state of the tires, but just was asking a little bit too much.
Just to show, yeah, how slidey this setup must be if it's that out of control. That's pretty wild. So everyone is going to come get tires and fuel. Does anybody try anything fun here, or does you get 4 Mr. Feelgoods and a set of and some gasoline?
Well, I think if you're in the top 10, I think you definitely get 4 tires. If you're a guy further back and you want to just throw a Hail Mary, I think you might as well come in and take 2 tires. I mean, what do you got to lose for some of these guys at the back? I mean, I'm looking at guys like, Ryan Carwile. He's been struggling in the back of the pack. He's got a decently fast car. I don't think he got a lot of damage from his incident, so, I mean, why not?
I think Brandon Bowers should do exactly what he's doing right now because he's currently the driver in 5th. And it's a highly desirable spot tonight. I'm sorry.
Should change the what is it, what is it? The
cash?
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm thinking Fast 5 is what I was thinking of.
Oh.
Or
oh boy.
I was thinking of another name for like a cash gimme. I think another league does it that, because I was gonna say, because everyone's been designing 5th place, but currently the man in 5th place, I guess, is AJ Servato. So I guess in your books he's winning.
No, I'm just making fun of you for. Well, I'm making fun of people that are like, well, I think he's doing exactly what he wants to do today, running 5th. Like, yep, that's what he came out here to do.
Nah, that's me on in my league races, because I'm not that good.
I don't think I've ever seen you finish 5th.
Yeah, I'm usually back in 10th or 15th. Maybe
yeah,
sometimes 20th.
Set your goals low and you'll never be disappointed in yourself.
Honestly, that's what I do for a lot of my league races.
Look, that's what I said with SimTV. When we started this, I said, actually, I didn't say anything.
I don't know what you said.
Remember when this was all your idea, and we're like, let's just do this for a couple.
What
weeks.
I remember you saying is when I proposed that we should do the stream already. You're like, that's stupid, or something along those lines. I don't know if it was exact words.
Well, I might have said it sounded like a lot of work, which, in my defense, it has been quite a bit of work. However, getting to friend Tristan Nunez on Facebook and go to Indianapolis, that's pretty rad. So, it all pays off in the end.
Still can't believe how far it's come.
It's out of control. Actually, it's too much. I think I'm gonna sell it.
You're gonna sell some TV?
Yeah. I think it's valued. We can value it at $1.6 million and go on Shark Tank.
Oh God.
And say, buy my sim racing broadcast company.
When Donald Trump goes back to Shark Tank.
Yeah.
was that what he was on, or was it another show like that?
Yeah, he was on The Apprentice.
I was on. I knew it. I knew it.
Yeah, he was not on Shark Tank. He'd be terrible. Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
You're not gonna go there.
I can turn this company make billions and billions and billions of dollars. Oh man, this is getting off the rails. I'm getting tired.
Well, unfortunately for you, it's going to end pretty soon. Not sure if it's going to end with this many cars. I think it was going to get
not.
Pretty wild from here as the pace car dives in.
Also forget that I got used to doing these races an hour earlier than normal because of Chicago, and now I got to do an hour later than normal. So green flag back in the air, big block to the inside. The 77 takes the 15 to the wall as the 24 leads him down into turn number 1. That got spicy on the restart. Battle for second, back on.
Yeah, I think it's the first time we've seen Cabot in second place for a long time, although Alex will try to change that very quickly as he dives to the inside into turn 3.
For second place, the 15 car wants his spot back. He was faster than the 24 in the middle of the run before. The 77 sideways out of turn 4, battling for that second spot. Look behind. Bowers has a look at right, unable to complete that pass.
Yeah, and Adam Cabot still trying to gain a run on the 24 Bailey Turner, slowly starting to check out, but he's still trying to deal with the 15 of Alex Bell. These two guys battling out really hard for second place, and neither catching the 24 up in front.
Through 3 and 4, the 15 car pulling dead even with the 77. Turner looking off behind him and seeing nothing but battling happening. 7 laps to go, 7 miles left in Avondale, Arizona for the penultimate race of the regular season. Cabot drives it in deep, but he's not going to be able to carry that speed as the 15 pulls up even along the side at the corner exit. They're going to dive to the apron, drag race into 3.
And Bell still not able to shake off the 77 to Cabot. Cabot trying to pinch down on the outside lane, trying to keep Bell close to that yellow line. He can try to get a drive out the corner. We saw him sideways a little bit earlier, but now it's got some heat in those tires. He's able to clear that 15 for second place.
Now 6 laps to go. The countdown timer begins. Next time by will be 5 laps to go. It's half a second. That means that Cabot needs to be a tenth faster every lap. That's a lot to ask here in the last couple moments of a race.
That is quite a bit to ask, and I think Bailey Turner's going to be up in front, hoping that nothing else happens. He got a really good restart. Nothing to worry about at the moment, but guys sitting behind still looking pretty racy. Looking at Brandon Bowers, still trying to knock on the door of Jeff Wright for top 5.
Yeah, Brandon Bowers had the speed to win this race earlier today. He's been unable to work his way back to the front. He started on pole, has dropped to 6th. There's Jeff Wright, who's had some up and downs today. He's in the bottom half of the top 5 right now. AJ Stravato in front of him will likely retain the points lead, but Bailey Turner currently walks into the night, I think 6th in the standings. I'm going to just double check that with 4 laps to go now. Comes in 6th in the standings, 68 back from Stravato. He will close that gap a lot tonight if he could get a victory here as well.
Yeah, and definitely can't argue that he didn't earn this race win potentially. As we come down to the last few laps, has led 113 laps tonight.
And he's going to continue, but Cabot did gain that time through 0.3 of a second. He drives in hard into turn 3. Gap is now down to 2 car lengths. 3 miles left here at Phoenix. Alex Bell waiting in the wings if these front 2 get together, and that is a discrete possibility here in the final couple moments.
Hey, he's got to be sure that he doesn't get himself into Adam Cabot, because he's been driving pretty hard, especially in the exit. He's forcing these tires. He doesn't need to save anything now. He's getting really good drives off these corners as well.
1.5 miles until Bailey Turner can see the white flag. And that would be the definitive factor. That means he won't have to hold anybody off for another restart. That might be better for him here, though, to kill that momentum that the 77 has. 2 laps to go, 1 mile until freedom.
Ooh, and it looked like Bell thought about making a dive into turn 1, thought better of, and that might have compromised his exit. It actually might not have. He's going to get a decent exit to the inside here, side by side for second again.
Bell to the inside, off into turn number 3, going to launch the car into the corner. If we get back to the stripe before a yellow flag flies, we will finish this race side by side for second. Toyota versus Chevrolet. Corner exit, big slide for the 15, white flag in the air, one more time around Phoenix.
Bell, really, that slide definitely hurt his pace there. You see Cabot flying through the corner on the outside of the 15. We'll see if he can try to bounce back. Indeed, yes, this is still not done yet.
Coming back to the checkers, Bailey Turner won a race in Darlington, South Carolina earlier this year. He's got one on the East Coast. He'll have one on the West Coast, so Bailey Turner comes out of turn 4. He's going to pick up his 2nd victory of the season for second place at the drag race in the line. Banging doors. Bell gets it by a nose, I think. No.
Yes, he did.
By 100th of a second he'll get there. Bell, Cabot to the line. Stravato 4th, Wright, Bowers, Devontae, Vincent. Wow, it's getting checkers or wreckers here at the end, but that was a great scrap for second.
Yeah, really solid job. Oh, and some being banged. Not sure if it's friendly, not sure if it's angry. We'll find out after the race, but everyone happy with a lot of congratulatory bumps to the 24 Bailey Turner. That car was pristine before he got hit by every other car in the field, but looks like everyone's happy for him.
Yeah, Bailey Turner, again, his only other victory coming at Darlington earlier this season. Got it done there in pretty definitive fashion. He will do so again here today at Phoenix. Next week, we'll head to Charlotte, where he will get to defend and maybe go for the most wins of anybody this season. He is tied now with Connor Horn and Adam Cabot for 2 race wins, the most this season. So with that, I think we'll take a short break. Before we do that, let's have a look at our race results here, Finian. We'll go down the list and have a look. Bailey Turner out of California, Alex Bell of Ohio, and Adam Cabot. They had an epic battle to the line. 15 thousandths of a second was the differentiating factor. AJ Stravato 4th, Jeff Wright in 5th. Then Bowers pulls off a 6th. How about Jeremiah Vincent sneaking up into 8th place towards the end, and Casey Lakatos wrapping up a top 10 here tonight.
Yeah, he's able to get after he saw him sliding around. You can see here, Bailey Turner blew the engine. I think pretty happy with the job he did today. Bryce Cluse is sitting in 11th place. Brian Chambliss and Joel Chambliss, you haven't seen a whole lot of his cars, so he was able to kind of just wait just outside the top 10. Eric Hunt, I think, is going to be disappointed after he had a top 10 car and worked his way up to the front, or at least near the front of the field. And you have a lot of drivers, pretty much everyone on this page here, finishing with damage in some way, shape, or form. But Zach Halpern, man, he's going to be really disappointed. And it was looking like a really big change. I was I was looking forward to seeing him do really well this race of being back up near the front, but just wasn't meant to be back in 17th.
And of course, Matthew Close rounds out the top 20. Looking at the tail end of the field, Tim Downey Jr., a disappointment again for him tonight. He will finish dead last here this evening. Steve Turner, I don't even think they took the green flag,
No, they did not.
Finished out towards the tail. So Joshua Banks, 25th after his crash damage. Liam Sheen did get back out there and did finish the race, albeit 22nd, 93 laps down. We'll be back in just a moment for interviews with our top three. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Back live here on Sim TV with Adam Cabot in the number 77. 2 wins on the season, a battle to the checkers, slamming doors with the 15 of Alex Bell. That looked like something out of Days of Thunder. Super entertaining run back to the checkers, Adam. Not really running for a championship this season, but you're here for race wins. And battling like that, is that fun or frustrating that you missed out on another win by a couple tenths of a second?
Well, that was fun because I'm part-time and don't have to worry about points. That would have been extremely stressful if points really mattered to me at all. But yeah, Alex and I, we had a great battle there at the end, and he had a lot better short run speed than I did, so he felt like if he could clear me, he had a decent shot at Bailey. And of course, I wasn't going to let that happen. I wanted to try to make a run at Bailey there, but just a wild race. Self-spun early on and almost hooked right back up into the field, and everyone did a great job of avoiding me there. I just had a lot of wheel in it on cold tires, trying to give extra room for what I thought was a 3Y situation. It maybe was, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was just so hard to pass. Track position was super important, and you had to work really hard and use up your tires to make passes there. But super psyched for Bailey to get that win. Of course, I wanted to take it from him, but cool to see another teammate get a win.
Well, Adam, of course, the road courses have been kind to you. We head there in a couple weeks. Can we expect to see you at Sonoma? And how do you think you're going to do there if you do run? Do you think you can get yourself another victory there?
I might be able to. I think Sonoma is actually probably my best road course. But there's a lot of really good road course drivers in this league. Jeff obviously is always a threat. Bryce has been really fast in one of road courses, and we've got a couple ringers in the field too who do a pretty decent job. So it'll be tough. There's actually a lot of tough competitions on the road courses this season.
Adam Cabot banging doors to the checkers, comes home third after starting in second. Adam, nice job. Thanks for talking. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Sure thing. Move on now to our second place finisher, Alex Bell, the number 15 diecast dude Sim TV Camry. Alex, what a drive to the checkers there, side by side, banging doors. That was a classic. Reminds me a lot of the Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards battle a couple years ago. Talk to me about your race tonight and coming to the checkers with Adam side by side.
Yeah, man. This car was amazingly good, way better than the driver on short runs there. So we had that long green run there for a while and had the caution at the very end. I thought, all right, cool, I can drive the piss out of this thing for 10 laps and maybe have a chance at Bailey there. But it's clean racing with Adam every time you race against him. I had to use him up. I don't know if I had to use him up there out of 4 on the last lap. I feel like I would have had him without banging doors with him, but just wanted to do that to make sure I had him. But it's really fun racing at the front of these things, man. I don't get a chance to do that often, so it's really fun.
We head to Charlotte next week. That'll be the regular season finale. Talk to me a little about your championship chances coming into the night. You've actually had a really good season. I think you're fourth in the standings coming into this evening. You dropped a spot after last week, but with this, Bryce Glue says not such an amazing night. You're probably going to close ground at least on third. So your thoughts on maybe having a run at the championship this season? Is that a realistic goal?
I think it is, truly. We finished top 10 every race this season except Road America and I think Chicagoland, so we've definitely had the speed all season. It's really been a track position game at most of these places, so I'm not the best at that, so we'll see how it goes. But Charlotte's a good track for me. Hopefully get a good close to the regular season there, and once it's chase time, man, anything can happen. You never know.
Alex Bell battling hard for second, gets it done by 15 thousandths. Alex, see you at Charlotte.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good night.
You too. Moving on now to Bailey Turner in the number 24. He got it done for the second time this season, first at Darlington a few months ago, and now at Phoenix tonight under the Arizona sun. Gets his second of the season. Bailey, it's got to feel real good. We were looking at the way your season started, 4 finishes outside the top 15, and since then, it's been going in the right direction. Tell me about your night holding off those drivers at the end there and coming home for your second win this year.
Yeah, I felt pretty comfortable with my pace all night on the long run there, and I knew from a run I had in practice how I needed to strategize as far as saving tires. And once you get the track position here, it's really hard for somebody to pass you. So basically what I did was just basically go fast enough to stay ahead of Bell there on the long run, and then once he started to burn his stuff off trying to pass me, it was just tire saving mode. And I was going full Chase Elliott panic mode during the championship race where he's just like thinking, okay, when's the next caution coming out? And of course, the caution did come, and luckily, had a decent pit stop, got out of there, and then just had to switch mentalities as far as trying to go from tire saving all race to okay, I got to push as hard as I can go here for 10 laps and run qualifying pace every time. So luckily, we got that done, and thankful for my teammates, everybody racing clean tonight. Pretty happy with the result.
Well, we head to Charlotte next week, which is a fairly predictable racetrack in terms of how it races. But then we head to Talladega and Sonoma to start off our chase. 2 very unpredictable racetracks. How do you feel like the chase is going to start for you? Because Talladega is a crapshoot, but Sonoma, is that a good one or a bad one for you, do you think?
Talladega, I'm hoping, we'll have the teammates working together there and, we'll bring home a good result for the team. And then, Sonoma, I mean, in the past, I've had speed there, but I haven't ran there in so long. We're gonna have to see how that goes. But my home track right there at Sonoma, so I gotta prepare for that and hopefully put on a good show.
All right, Bailey Turner gets his second win of the season here tonight at Phoenix Raceway. Bailey, thanks for talking. We'll see you next week at Charlotte.
Appreciate you guys.
So, Finn, that'll wrap up the interviews here tonight. We've been talking a lot about Sonoma. One thing we should note about Sonoma is that we're running the longer layout of it this year, which I think to be the inferior layout, but that it's going to pose a different challenge for drivers of this league. We typically run the short course there. That's in about 3 weeks, but that could really throw a wrench into things, Finian. But your final thoughts on Phoenix and heading into Charlotte next week?
Yeah, these guys put on a really solid race. Fairly slow start to the night, but definitely started to get some green flag racing in, and these guys put on a really good show as usual. Looking forward to seeing how they perform at Charlotte and also at Sonoma too. I think we mentioned there are quite a few road ringers in this league now, and guys perform really well there. It is a very tricky layout, the long circuit with this configuration of the Cup cars. So interesting seeing who's going to come out on top, and also just for the championship too, considering how close it is.
Yeah, so of course that's going to be it for us tonight here from Phoenix, and thanks everybody for watching. We're going to be back with you again on Monday night, and then that'll be for 9:40, 8:40 Central for the 3 Wide Racing League. What's it called?
Don't know. Rubble.
I was going to say the
Rubble?
Race Kings
Not
Cup
the Rubble.
Series, but it's the 3 Wide
Cold
Racing
Arts.
League Cold Hard Art Cup Series. I don't know where we're going, but it's a place.
It is Dega.
Talladega, great, awesome. And then Tuesday night will be, of course, the FCP Euro Tour for Grid Life. That'll be at, of course, 9/8 Central again. And then Thursday, Scars Ferrari Challenge with the DC region SCCA taking up Wednesday. Thanks so much for watching here on Sim TV. We'll see you on Monday night at 9:40 Eastern for 3 Wide Racing League. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.